beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actors directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cypher system. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actors directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cypher system. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actors directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Boundary.
Or who turns into Morgoth. Get ready.
Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Boundary VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actors directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Boundary VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a STEM.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Learn to Play one-shot of the 2nd edition of The One Ring. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Kris, DesertedGM, and I'll be GMing or lore mastering, as The One Ring has it, this one-shot. And we have a wonderful cast for you today who are going to be playing very interesting and exciting characters. So I think we're going to just go around and I'll have each player introduce themselves, and we'll keep the characters to in-game. We'll quickly introduce each of, but you can maybe say just sort of name quickly and culture and calling, and then we'll keep the rest for in-game. So why don't we go to the left of me? Well, right of me, other side, it's mirrored. Luna, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I have that problem all the time. I'm always like, wait, which end? Yes, I am Luna, Gamer Mom Luna on all social media, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I say Facebook, but I never use it, so don't really look for me there. And let's see, I am the creator and host of Tales from the Tavern, which is a weekly TTRPG roundtable discussion stream where all of the questions and everything we talk about comes from chat. So it's a lot of fun. And we do that every Sunday night, just about every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Let's see, I am playing, what are we saying? Our culture, our what did we say?
And the calling.
Okay, my calling is a warden. I am a ranger of the north tonight, named Arabeth.
Perfect, awesome. Next up, we have Hope.
I am Hope from Hope for TTRPGs, and I run a TTRPG community, and you can basically find us anywhere, but our main places are Twitter and our wonderful Discord, where basically if you're into anything TTRPGs, there is definitely something there for you, from advice channels to just hanging out to playing games. So I just like to bring a lot of community to the TTRPG sphere, and we'd love to see you around there. But tonight, I'm really excited to be playing The One Ring for the first time, and so my character is Dahlia, a hobbit of the Shire, who is also a treasure hunter.
Nice. Next up, we have Jack.
Yes, hello, I'm Jack. I run RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it can be to learn a new TTRPG. Something similar to what we have going on here. I take a look at games. I'd like to focus on indie games and do a deep dive into the system, do an analysis of the rules, tools, and themes, and put on a little demo play miniseries to help demonstrate the play through a really cool story. We're just wrapping up on Season 3 right now. That'll be this upcoming Sunday for our final episode of this run, a complete critical analysis, system analysis of Lost Eons. It is a sort of post-apocalyptic, post-human solarpunk TTRPG. Very narrative-based, very collaborative storytelling-based. And we just wrapped up the demo play miniseries last week, so if you're interested in a 4-part solarpunk adventure about human and post-human exploration, go check that out. I believe all our links are down below. I also have a number of my own one-shots coming up in July. I'm still in the process of planning those, so come check me out on Twitter for announcements as far as that. But for tonight and my first jaunt into Middle-earth, I will be playing Leiknir, a dwarf warden. Is that everything? Yeah, dwarf warden.
Yeah. Excited. Your actual first foray into Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Not scary at all.
And last but certainly not least is our gracious host, Klaus.
Hey there, everybody. You know me. If you're seeing this, you probably know my channel. But so I'm not going to tell you a damn thing about me. You're here. You know it. If you're not subscribed, shame on you. But otherwise, you should be following all these people. All of their info is down in the description. You can go there and find out all about Kris. You can hire Kris to GM your games, and after seeing this, you're gonna want to. You can go see all of Luna's amazing links and the stuff that she's doing. Hope's links. Get on her Discord. It's super fun. And if you like my channel, why aren't you following Jack's channel? He does amazing stuff too. Clearly, if you like learning TTRPGs, you get over there. So that's all I'm going to say. Who cares about me? These people are here, and that's awesome. Oh, and I'm playing a man of Bree, and my calling is a messenger.
And also cheats.
Yes.
And don't shoot him. I don't know. Nice. Yeah, and as I said, I'm Kris, DesertedGM on many of the socials. And as Klaus said, you can play games with me for hire. I'm on startplaying.games. You can find my profile there. I've got a few games running. I've got some the One Ring games running. I've got some Adventures in Middle Earth, the D&D 5e port coming up. And if there's something you'd like to play that I don't have up, or a time or a day or a year you'd like to play that's not on offer right now, message me and we'll figure out a way to make it work. So, as we said, this is going to be a learn to play, so we're going to take it easy. We're going to we've got a range of familiarities with the game here among the players. We've got a range of familiarities with Middle Earth as a setting among the players, and that's fine. We're going to have some cards on the screen to both for the sake of the players and viewers, with how the system works, how some of the set pieces within the system work. And please, players, do not feel bad about asking, slowing down, asking questions. Like, how does this work again? That's why we're here. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we get started? You all have known each other for a while, through various channels in various contexts. Leiknir and Aribeth have crossed paths multiple times in their roles as wardens, scouting the wildlands, making sure that peaceful regions like the Breeland remain peaceful. You've had contact with Oswald in Bree, who's acted as a contact, source of information. And then there's Dahlia, who I think especially Leiknir has come to know, and Dahlia has sort of taken a liking to Leiknir in this kind of like, oh, he seems grumpy. He needs a little bit of cheering up. So you've sort of grown accustomed to each other, at least somewhat over the past, maybe several months, maybe a year. And as it so happens, for some reason or another, maybe hunting, you're out and about together this evening. We're starting in Breeland, in the area around Bree, and quite specifically, we're starting a little bit to the northeast of Bree, on the other side of Bree Hill, in the Chetwood, southern edges of the Chetwood. Forest around you is beautiful, airy, bright green forest. It's early summer. The weather has been beautiful today. There's been sunshine. It's not been too warm because in the forest the trees have been giving shade. You've been spending a very delightful day hunting through the forest. And so the sun begins to go down in the west. Early evening. you've decided to start heading back to Bree. Maybe take a little detour through the Prancing Pony. And as you're walking through the forest, you suddenly hear in the distance sounds. A little bit of music, it seems. Maybe a flute. Occasionally, some drifting on the breeze. You hear this. A voice carrying on the wind. Just sing. High voice. Occasionally singing, and then the music starts up again. That's quite nice. As you're rounding a corner on this little path you're taking through the forest, coming around the corner of a denser copse of trees, you see in a little intersection where various paths through the forest cross on a large rock, a youth about somewhere between 16 and 18, late teens, dressed in very simple garb, linen pants and a shirt and a shepherd's crook leaning against the rock, and he's got a little flute, and he's the one playing it. Sort of, I don't know. Does anybody? Do any of you very good in song?
Might be a little bit. I might be familiar.
How many pips do you have variously in the song? 2, okay. 1.
I have 1, but I have I can't remember what the thing is called, where the pip to the left of it.
Favored.
So.
Yeah. Is Aribeth at all musical?
Nope. Not even a little.
I don't know how much Aribeth cares about music, but that's all right. Dahlia, you think you could, with a little practice, you'll be okay one day. But his voice is quite nice, and you hear him sing. It seems a love song. Seems completely unaware of you.
Well, should we go say hi? I mean, I'm not very good at collecting songs. They're really hard to collect. You kind of have to write them down, and books get kind of heavy. But, I mean, maybe they have some good conversation. Do we want to go over and say hi?
Well, I'd hate to interrupt his music, but we could...
Better us than a pack of wolves. Or brigands.
That's fair enough. And perhaps we
I
could
agree with
request
that.
another song.
I'm gonna stomp my way over in his direction. Hey, kid! We gotta hear you from yards off. You're lucky we're not wolves or brigands. What are you doing all the way out here?
The youth, as he's playing, you come up. Oh my. Oh, I'm sorry I did not see you there. Well met, dear traveler. Oh, travelers. Oh, well met. What brings you to this place?
Our feet.
A wit. Quite beautiful, quite wonderful.
What
Are
brings
you
you
from
out here, you shepherd's crook? I don't see a lot of sheep nearabouts.
Or stage.
He blushes a little bit. Well, I must admit I may have snuck away to sing a song and play a tune. My flock is with my family not far from here. Are you both poets and friends of music too?
No.
I enjoy a tune.
You played very well. Your song, it seemed like was it about someone special?
You've hit it right. It is. It's, about the most amazing person in this world. If only I could find her once again. Maybe you have seen her. It looks to me like you have been out in the woods and maybe come across her.
Well,
Have you seen a maiden fair, perhaps just dancing through the sunlight in the woods?
do you have like a picture or a drawing? I'm not very good at remembering things that I can't see.
I'm afraid that my pictorial skills are nowhere near my song and music.
Only fair dancing I've seen through these woods would be Leichnir hustling about.
He's heavy on his feet.
Oh? What say you, Sir Dwarf? Will you give us a little demonstration?
You sure you haven't been hitting that pipe a little hard, lad?
Everything still seems in order.
Unlike Lear,
Ladies
just has a
prancing
little
out
bit
in
of
the
a dance.
woods.
You're
Dwarves
right.
don't dance without a lot more mead than what we have on us.
Well, I'll hold you to that then next time we get back to a place with more mead. But you're right. If we would have seen someone like that, I'm sure I would have collected some sort of memory. And she'll start like rummaging through her bag and like pulling out buttons and acorns and random things. Nothing's really bringing anything to memory. So I don't think we have seen her.
So I think maybe this is a good moment, actually, to introduce what your characters look like. What does that mean for Dahlia, you're rummaging through your bag?
Yes, so Dahlia is a hobbit of the Shire, and she is just covered head to toe in bags and pockets and more, as she is a treasure hunter, but she collects very special treasures to herself, and those are treasures of memories and of comfort, as she thinks that makes somebody the richest. So if we go out and we find a diamond, she's not going to care about the diamond, but she might really like the bag that it's in. So for her, she has a really tough time remembering things that she can't like see right here and right now. So she collects items to help remind her of the good memories and the good stories that she has come across.
Since opposites, I don't know whether they attract, but certainly we have a little. What about Leichnir, because he's been grumping and stomping along?
Yes, stomping along. Leichnir is a stout, sturdy dwarf, as most are, wearing a full shirt of chainmail, accented with various furs and pelts that he's collected over the years. He has a large-ish for his size shield on him, and has this big, long, hafted axe slung over his shoulder. Big, bushy beard with multiple different braids. I unfortunately can only make the one. But many lovely braids. Lovely probably isn't the word he'd use. Accented with bits of metal and stone beadwork. Mostly just glaring this kid down.
What is Oz's demeanor in this moment of meeting this youth?
Oz is just a cheerful fellow. He's little under 6 foot tall. He's a guy with a bit of a belly. He's a huskier guy, but he's got that just kind of jolliness about him, you know. His beard and mustache are always spread in at least a little bit of a smile as he kind of looks out from some kind of bushy eyebrows and everything. And he's just amused seeing everyone kind of talk back and forth. He likes putting in little things to get people riled up, so...
And finally, Arabeth. What is Arabeth doing? 'Cause so far, Arabeth has been very quiet.
Yeah, she's a very sort of quiet, not necessarily withdrawn, but she's very stern, very secretive, doesn't talk a lot to a lot of people. She is also, as I mentioned, a ranger of the north, and a warden. So she's dressed in a leather shirt. She carries both a bow and a sword, and similarly, like, has like, pelts and furs and, various things that she's collected that would be helpful. But, also has a pocket knife on her belt. And she's just, kind of your, I don't want to say average human, but, like an average height human, and has really, really long, like waist length, kind of auburn hair, and, tends to keep it sort of tucked back in her cloak, so you don't really see how long it is, but it's actually super long. So she's just been kind of like hanging back, kind of watching this whole thing go down, and like she's kind of standing there with this look of like, and we're doing this is a thing that we're doing now, okay, got it.
And here you are, all standing in front of this youth who's dressed in these simple clothes, grayish blues, and sort of light brown hair, almost shoulder length. You see, now that you're close, you see just the faintest little peach fuzz on the cheeks, but there's not much. This is never going to be a beard. This is definitely never going to, not even approach Leiknir capabilities.
You do.
Little pale, very slight kind of figure. And you notice especially when he talks about this maiden he watched, to whom he's singing, about whom he's singing, get this sort of gleam in his face, and sort of a slightly rapturous expression. Well, I do declare, if you had seen her in the forest, you would remember every step, every gesture, every glance. It's been a while since I've seen her. But enough of me. What brings you here? What brings you to this part of our verdant woods? What takes you down this path?
I don't know. Oswald, why am I babysitting you this time?
Just traveling from town to town, finding, the next hot meal and whatnot, just need to get from one place to the other, I think.
Sometimes
I would like
in
to-
search of an estate sale, too. There's often some really great estate sales in Bree.
I would also like to just note that when Leiknir makes the comment about babysitting, Arabeth definitely tries to stifle a laugh.
Adventurers, then, or travelers? People of the road, at least. I don't mean to be too forward, but maybe you can help me find my dearest.
This hallucination lady you saw?
Oh, not imagined. Good Sir Dwarf, I promise you, this person was very real and true, and to tell the truth, I did not separate from her out of free will. My father stepped between and forbid me to see or speak to her. And so she left. Promised to send word and let me know how she was faring, but... And he looks around, he looks off down at one of the paths you haven't come. And my father and my cousins must not know what I am saying now, but they forbid me to stir far from home and watch me. They do not want my happiness. They do not want me to be with her and see her and...
My God.
But maybe.
No.
I'm sorry.
Did you hear it? Feel my heart might be in danger of breaking. If only I knew a talented ranger who could track down such an elusive beauty for love. And he looks at Arabeth, and his bushy beard smile just slowly grows a little bit as he's like,
She's like, I don't know about this. Don't we have more important things that we need to do?
More important than love? Arabeth, what is a world worth fighting for if there's not love in it, Listen to this young man's tale. Does it not make you weep? Just a bit.
No.
Nope.
Very good at hiding their emotions, but I know they are definitely concerned, and again, they are both very good at finding things, and I always hate losing things. Oh, it's the worst. But before we do go and search, because I'm sure they can find them very easy, why would they forbid you from seeing her?
The truth, my father thinks much like your two companions here, at least the way you speak about it, and gestures towards Lycanir and Arabeth. He is a hard man and what he oft terms a realist, and cares more for his flocks, his land, and does not think it true that a dear glance or a short dance or a simple word can tell you everything you need to know about a person and find true love in just a day's compass. So we had words and he forbid it.
Well, that sounds like the end of that, eh?
It's most certainly not. Now, come now, Lycanir. Surely some young dwarven maiden or fella or a elf or a human or who knows has made your heart flutter ever just a bit? Surely you've known what it is to long for something, and why, if you're capable of doing something to help someone in that situation, why would you not?
Well said, good sir. And here is my proposal to you all. If you can help me find her, if you can find her for me and accompany her back to this place, we may find a way of leaving and establishing a new life somewhere far from my father's reach. Would you do such a thing for us? She can't be far. She must be in this forest where I saw her the first time when looking for a sheep that had strayed from the flock. Just a little travel to the north.
You ever find that sheep? Yeah, just think about that for a bit.
Oh, so we should keep an eye out for sheep as well.
No, surely I did. I do take very careful care of my own flock and of my father's too. I did return it, yes. And more.
Now, Erebeth, Leiknir, I know that you're already just champing at the bit, ready to run off and do this, but know this, if you go along with what's bound to be just a quick little jaunt through the woods with us to do this for love, I'll buy you each a few rounds once we reach town.
If you will do this deed for me, I don't expect you to do this much work for free. I do, and he pulls out of his pocket a ring, golden, simple band. This ring was once my mother's, and I planned to give it to my beauteous Sulawen, but where we may go, we will not need this, or I may find something else, something that fits the purpose better. Should you find her for me and bring her back and help us leave this place, I will give this to you.
That sounds very important to your family and for your future family. I don't know if you'd really want to be giving that away. That seems like it's very important. What about the song? Do you have it written down, or maybe you could throw the song somewhere? I'd love to have the song as a memory.
I'll gladly give you many songs when we have time. This ring is just material dross. It does not mean that much. My mother's memory is with me here and in my songs. I do not need this ring. So if this will speed you right along on your excursion, on your search, then I will gladly part with it.
Come on.
Erebeth, Leikner, what do you think?
What do you say?
I'm gonna Erebeth's gonna lean down to Leikner and say, I'd rather find the sheep.
I'm just here to make sure these two idiots make their way home.
Good plan. Yeah,
Well,
I can help
then
with that.
you
We sure
best-
this kid isn't just some creep?
Perhaps, maybe, perhaps he's a spirit in disguise to deceive us, but that's just a call to adventure, so far as I'm concerned. But I choose to believe in love. And we shall find this fair maiden and have you reunited.
Is this true?
Yeah, you hooked Oswald. When he gets his mind on something, you can't talk him out of it.
Oh, wonderful. You'll have an easy time to find her. Or at least the spot where I last found her, where I came upon her dancing in the woods. It is about a short day's travel north of here. A glade in amongst the trees, covered in grass and flowers, suffused with sunshine. You will easily recognize it. And there will be no doubt when you see her that you have found her. There is no person anything like her.
Just in case there is, what's her name?
Her name is Sulawen. Do you...
Is that one of those fancy elf names?
I mean, to be fair, it could be one of the less fancy elf names.
Are there less fancy elves?
She does sound fancy.
That is a pretty fancy name.
Wondering. Old elf lore's distinctive feature, I don't think anybody has, but if somebody would like to make a lore check, you could.
We haven't met her yet, so I've got no lore.
Okay, so I have 2 pips in lore, so I'm rolling a d12 and 2 d6s.
Yes, so this is the first roll of the learn to play, the first roll of the one shot. Exciting. Yeah, so
Okay.
you always roll the d12, the feat die, and then for each pip you have, you roll an additional success die.
All right. That's a whopping 7.
And you roll against the target number for that skill.
My target is 15.
With your lore, what you do recognize at least is that this is a name in the old, and in fact, in some ways, the fancy Elven language. Not Sindarin, which is the more sort of more common Elven language, but Quenya, the language spoken by most of the Noldor elves, and the language that came across the sea to Middle Earth. I think you probably see you recognize it, so you would know. Would you know? I should have written my notes larger. I'll find it. But yeah, you recognize that at least. It's a name in Quenya.
I will relay all that information to everybody.
All right. Pointy ears. Distinctive enough for me.
Birch spirit is what it means. There you go.
Well, I guess that's good enough for me. Should we go ahead and get started?
I dare see we should.
I'm following you, kid.
Before we take off, is there any, bits of, sheep wool, stuck to either his clothing or, a bush? Just, a tiny little scrap.
Thing stuck to his shepherd's crook. Yeah, you can find a little tuft of wool.
She grabs it, stuffs it in her bag. She's like, all right, let's go ahead and find this glade amongst the trees covered in grass and flowers diffused with sunshine.
As you're leaving, the youth waves. Thank you. You will be.
Go home before you get yourself killed, boy.
Good, Sir Dwarf. But you will find me here when you return. I will meet you once more at this large rock. Or call for Johann, if you please, and I will hear you.
One ale, we find a pile of bones back here when we get back.
Oh, don't be so dour like Near. We're gonna reunite, love. It's going to be beautiful.
As you are heading out on this errand you have chosen to accept, what do you do?
Dahlia is probably just talking, and probably to Near too, just about, oh, how special that was that we got to meet them, and what a wonderful story.
Real
this
special.
is going to be something we remember forever.
Great story. Mm-hmm.
And just on and on she goes, and as she probably keeps pulling out that piece of wool, she'll find something else of another wonderful time and start talking about that, and just keeps going.
So, I think what we're going to do is run this trip as a journey. So the One Ring has sort of, for most of things, roleplay and skill resolution. You do that sort of talking as you need it, or as the lore master calls for it. But there are these set pieces for certain things to do. Journeying is one. There are some specific rules for that, or some slightly tweaked rules. Set of rules. Combat is one, and then audiences, extended meetings with NPCs and those are called councils. But this will do as a journey. So the first thing you need to do for a journey is that you need to fill certain roles, certain travel roles among the company. So we will need first of all, a guide. Who is the person to plan the route, which in this case we'll have to do it a little bit differently because you have some idea where you're going, but you don't know exactly. But the guide will be the first one to make certain roles, and then there are three others: the scout, the lookout, and the hunter. Those three roles are for events during the journey. The guide's activities, the guide's role indicates when something happens, and to some degree what happens, and then the scout, the lookout, and the hunter get to deal with whatever may happen with skill roll. So for the guide, the important skill is travel. For the scout, the most important skill is explore. For the lookout, the most important skill is actually awareness, I believe. And for the hunter, it's hunting. Our wonderful journey tracker here that we have, which, by the way, is based on us adapted it a little bit and made it more legible for our purposes, but it's based on a wonderful person in the One Ring community on the Discord, going by the handle of RevMech. So RevMech, thank you so much for allowing us to use this. There's some additional skills on here, but we're additional skills, but we'll stick with the basics. So, who is good at travel? Who will be the guy?
I'll just say
I'm quite
right
good
off
at travel.
That's good. I'm gonna say, between all the skills that Kris mentioned, I have 1 pip in each of them. So
I was gonna say I am definitely the strongest at hunting.
And then I can do either scouting or the lookout. For scouting, I have the box filled into the left, and then 1 pip. But for awareness, I have 2 pips. But no, nothing to the left.
I'll leave it up to you which one you want to do, and I'll fill in the last spot with whatever I got. So
I guess when it comes to min-maxing, is it better to have 1 pip to the right and then the box filled into the left, or is it better to have just 2 pips filled in?
probably 2 pips, I think, gives you slightly better, if I'm remembering correct. Because if you have the box to the left where you're favored, doesn't that basically mean you get to roll 2d6 and take the better of the 2 results, right, Kris? Or am I
2d12. You roll the feat die twice and keep the better result.
So I guess either could really be good. I don't know.
I don't know exactly what the math is, whether it's better to be favored or have more. Probably depends on how many. I mean, it depends on how many pips you have as well.
Oh, for the look, because I'm sure she's just keeping her eye open for anything beautiful and fun and memorable as they're walking around too. Again, the beautiful flowers, she's definitely into that. She's excited to see that, so she'll be the lookout.
All right, I'll go with Scout. Boop.
So nice. All right. Excellent. So, the way this works then is the guide will make travel rolls, and that will determine as you're traveling along how often something occurs. We're going to sort of stuff and shrink events into a much shorter trek than ordinarily would happen, because we're not traveling over that huge an expanse, but we want to have an eventful trek through the forest, maybe. So, Lightning, why don't you go ahead and make a travel roll?
All right. So, yes, travel is favored for me, and I have 3 pips. So that is 2d12, take the higher, and 3d6. What do we got here? So that's an 8. What's this? 8, 10, 18, 19 against a target value of 17, so that's a pass.
Very nice. And 6s give you special effects. 6s have an additional, the One Ring uses specialized dice, so the 6 has a Tengwar rune, special elven rune next to it. So when you get those and you succeed, you get to do extra things, or you have an even more amazing success. So in this case, it would mean it takes a lot longer for something to occur until the event happens. All right, so you travel for quite a while. That is, for one thing, is what that means, until some kind of complication occurs. Usually, then the lore master rolls to see what happens, but that's boring. Why don't we have the hunter roll a d12.
Okay. Just 1d12?
Just 1d12, yep.
That's an 11.
which on the One Ring dice is actually the Eye of Sauron.
It's actually really bad.
In this case, so on this table, which we have up here, it means it's a terrible misfortune that you encounter.
Oh, good. Just what we always wanted.
Boy, all right. Right, so...
Get traumatized.
So that means we now have an event challenge for wait, this one says involve fail. Hold on, let me check this. I thought only one.
Just over here, I'm going to break the game in the first hour.
Oh boy. Okay, so I will roll actually for whom in this company this is an event. Interesting. It is in fact the hunt. Okay. So as you are traveling along, as I said at the start, when you met this youth, it was early evening. The sun was still the sky. You probably still have a few hours of sunlight, but increasingly, right, that sunlight turns first to golden and oranges and then yellows, and eventually it starts getting darker, especially in the forest. The sun starts moving towards them. And so the youth told you somewhere north of here, gave you maybe some additional indications. You take this particular hunter's path, and then there's a logging path that you can take here. And when I was looking for my sheep, he mentions a few landmarks in the forest. If you this dell, and then there was a big split tree. And so you have some indications which way to go. And as you're traveling, you follow a lot of these landmarks, and you are making pretty good progress through the forest, and so it starts getting dark. The sun, somewhere outside the forest, begins to set out in the west. And in the beginning twilight, Beth, you keeping a lookout a little bit as well for game, right? Hunt for dinner, or finding some mushrooms and berries and tubers, of which there's plenty in this forest. You notice another set of tracks. Make a hunting roll.
Okay. So that's 2d12 and 2d6. Okay, so 9, a 6, and a 3. So 9 and 9, 18 against a 15.
And an extra Tengwa, an extra 6 in there, an extra success. Yeah. So you succeed in your hunting roll, which is a good thing. I was just looking at the table that's actually in this journey track is a little bit different than the official one in the book, but that's fine. So as you are all walking along, and Beth, as a hunter, you occasionally go off to the side, off the immediate path that the rest of the company's traveling. You're scouting around, you're looking for potential food, but you're also looking out for what else may be around. And you find this other set of tracks. And you for a moment you're a little bit stumped. Like, what is this? Maybe deer. There might be deer here. Maybe this is going to be like a furnace. Or oh wait, no, it's not deer. It doesn't look like. Maybe it's boar. In which case, you really need to be careful. Start listening out. Is there any kind of stuff that you're grunting? This would be just the right time for boar to have some of their young still around, not little stragglings, but still. And as you are sort of listening out and walking along, a little bit on autopilot, feel the ground give way under your right foot. And you see in front of you some of the ground of the floor of the forest in front of you, the leaves that solid ground covered in leaves. Leaves just suddenly fall as if through a grate. You see underneath branches, pine branches, start to sink in, and you realize you are at the edge of a pit that was covered, maybe hunters, and you throw yourself backwards at the last minute, gaining purchase with your left foot, and you force yourself backwards. Do not tip into this pit, which is a good thing, because as you look over the edge, you see sharpened stakes.
Oh, God.
On the ground.
Yeah, that would not have been a fun way to start this off.
You all hear this. Certainly the cracking, the crushing of the materials. I don't know whether Arabic.
Oswald, you fall into a bush again?
No, not this time. Wasn't me.
I'm gonna yell out to everybody, don't step right there. As I'm like trying to stand up.
What is it?
A pit that will probably do some serious damage to you.
Why is a pit out here?
Hunting, traps. I don't know. Could be anything.
Yeah, you get the sense that this is set up by hunters for boars.
Oh.
Yeah, so somebody probably trying to trap a boar.
Well, the only boar here is sometimes like near. But I think, can we just walk around it?
Yeah, just be very careful.
Show you how boring things will be when you fall in one of those traps and I have to pull your ass out.
It won't be boring for you then.
So, as night begins to fall, do you make camp or do you travel through the night?
Oh, I think that we should make camp. Settle down and everything. I could put a little, maybe make a nice little mulled wine or something that we could all sit and sip and everything. Tell some stories,
Oh, I love that idea. Let's go ahead. Let's make camp.
I'm gonna look at Lake Near and kind of roll my eyes and say, I guess we're making camp.
Yeah, these two can't go too long walking in the forest. They get all grumpy.
I would
Yes.
pay good money to see Dahlia get grumpy.
All right, we're
Can't
moving
have-
on.
Can't have we can't have 4 grumpy people marching through the forest, now can we? Need to retain some balance.
Very good. So you make camp. You've had a long day behind you. You had been planning on a much earlier end to this day and putting your feet up at the prancing pony. Instead, you're in the middle of the Chetwood again. But at least you have some food. Didn't somebody bring ale?
Oh, Oswald is always carrying an assortment of, a little bit of a little cask of ale that he has attached to the belt and a little bit of wine and whatnot. Gotta make sure that if you can't find a nice place to bed down with some drink, you better bring some with you.
Is it with dwarves bringing ale? It's amazing. Shout out to another player character I play with recently, Warren. Nathan, if you're watching, Oren always had ale.
To be fair, I'm not a dwarf, though. I'm a man of breed. Just a man who likes his drink.
Dwarven ale, fair enough. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make the next roll now, and it's going to be part of the next morning's travel as well. But that gives us a way to also, maybe see whether something happens overnight. But by the time you settle, this first day was a very fatiguing travel day. So for now, you all have 3 fatigue points from the first leg of this journey. So in the One Ring is kind of mechanically interesting because you have your endurance, your hit points, which is really just sort of stamina kind of hit points. But they are weighed against, first of all, how much you carry, your load. So that influences how soon at least you become wary, which affects how well you do in your skill rolls. And on top of the load, you also add fatigue. So traveling heavily loaded can very quickly mean that the player characters become tired and winded, and then skill rolls and combat become much more. 3 fatigue points for the first day, which is a lot for traveling. Ignir, I would like you to make that second travel roll, which will count for the night as well as the first leg in the morning.
Okay. That is again 2d12 take the highest and 3d6. Roll those dice. Okay, I believe that's a 19 against my 17, so that is a success. No 6s this time.
So, still, it's a success. So that means it's going to be at least a long time, or if you're making long journeys, it's sort of measured out on a map, and so it's sort of a hex crawl. Basically, it's going to be a lot of hexes. We'll see how we do this for this short journey, but let's see. Last time it was the hunter who did the D12 roll. Why don't we have some scout do the D12 roll?
Ooh, let me find the dice roller here on my thing. I'm gonna D12 and yeah. No! Oh, that's another Eye of Sauron.
Oh my god! We're literally gonna kill the party before this entire thing is over.
Yep. As you folks can kind of see, oh boy, that's a weird angle to figure out. At number 11, Lidless Eye. Yay, I did it.
Yep. Okay. Well, make camp. You eat. You have a little bit of dwarven ale, at least some of you. I don't know whether everybody invites. Do you set up watches?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that would be smart.
What's the order?
I'll take first. 'Cause, after a few drinks, I'll probably won't be up for the next.
I'll go second.
I can volunteer to go last. I've already got all of the blankets out and all of our pillows out. It's already so cozy. I just, it's a really tiring day. I'm good to just take a nap right away. Then I'll be up in the morning. I can get breakfast started, and I have all of my plates and the silverware and the bent forks and the blunt knives, and it'll be perfect.
Wonderful.
I think have your says additional load for Dahlia.
Oh gosh, I should invest in a little red wagon that she just pulls around.
Oh my gosh! That would be
Okay,
adorable.
It's true now. Dahlia has a little hand wagon that she always pulls with her.
Oh, I love it.
Oh wait, do we have our mounts with us, our horses and whatnot?
Up to you. I'd be fine with that. because each of your characters does have a mount. Like little ponies.
I want to say that Teacup is with us. That's my little half pony, and he's really old, and he kind of looks like Leiknir, and he helps carry all my stuff.
Did you braid the mane into little braids?
Oh yes, to match Leiknir's braids, exactly.
Complete with like the little metal pieces in it and everything.
Oh, definitely.
All right, okay. All right. So you all set up. You set up watches, and then you keep a small fire going, just enough to. Warmth is not really needed. The weather remains quite pleasant. Some clouds moving in overnight, but it still remains fairly warm, and especially in Chetwood, the wind kept off. And it is a very pleasant light wood, mostly oaks and beech trees, and very, very nice. Dahlia, you taking the last watch. Get woken up. Who was the watch before Dahlia? Again?
Erebeth, I believe.
Yeah, I said I would take the second watch, so.
I think I will probably wake up for early watch, but pretend I'm still sleeping.
Okay. So, Dahlia, as Erebeth shakes you awake, you sort of, roll out of, like, extract yourself from the pillows and the blankets and jostle a little bit of the silverware. And as the first dawn light, first gray light creeps into the forest from the east, light fog that's come in from the Midgewater marshes, the east, watching. It's pretty quiet. The birds are waking up, and a little bit of, chirping and chirping out, and of course you hear the rustling here and there of squirrels and bunnies on their early morning walks. Then you hear a little bit a louder rustling off in the bushes to the side of the camp, and grunting, and snuffling in the undergrowth. And out of the bushes come 3 piglets. Scruffy, hairy, kind of almost boar, but not quite. Old domestic pigs, the way that in the area a lot of the farmers just sort of let them run for much of the summer and then collect them. Very small, thinking just out of piglet phase.
I guess seeing that, there is something, she'll reach over to Leiknir and Erebeth, knowing that Erebeth likes to hunt and all that stuff. She'll wake them both up and be like, oh, remember how they lost the sheep yesterday? Well, they might have lost some pigs, and the trap might be for boars, but the trap might also be for these pigs. Anyway, good morning, there's some pigs, and good morning.
I did not get enough sleep for this last night.
Just gone to sleep.
You say that every night.
And every morning I mean it.
Go back to sleep, Erebeth. I'll make us some bacon.
Excellent.
These are tiny, like, piglets, though, right? They're not...
Not piglets.
Would a hunter take this animal?
You're fairly sure these belong to somebody? These are not wild boars. These are sort of pigs left to roam in the forest, but they belong to somebody.
Hmm.
Well, since it's not a hunting thing, do we want to take them with us? Maybe they belong to Johann.
In the meantime, they come a little bit closer. They're sort of snuffling through the ground, rooting around, occasionally eating something, catching something. getting closer to Dahlia.
Never understand people who just let their animals roam about. You want to claim an animal, keep it.
True. I always took very good care of Teacup. And she'll like kind of reach over to her pony and scratch underneath his beard. Well, do we want to keep them too? I mean, if this is Teacup, maybe they're the silverware. This one can be the little spoon, and this one can be the big spoon, and this one can be the medium spoon.
Do they have any sort of branding or tags or...
They all... Yeah, they all have sort of a little cord, a leather cord around their necks. I mean, not tied, wide enough, with a little wooden token.
Have I come across any of these similar animals since I live out in the woods?
Yeah, all the time. It's really common practice for...
Like, do I know who these belong to?
You would have to get really close and look at the tags specifically. You all, because all of you are from this. Well, Dahlia is a relatively recent newcomer. Most of you will know that this is fairly common practice for a lot of the swineherds to just let their herds roam, sort of like using the forest as a commons, and then they call them back at the. And they sort of they respond and come to their particular owners. So this is nothing out of the ordinary.
I take it there's not a lot of wolves in this forest. Okay.
People like you and Arabet make sure of that.
That is true. Yeah.
I guess at this point, Dahlia is probably already walking up to them if she can to look at their little collars and hope that their names are actually like Little Spoon, like engraved on as like LS, MS, and oh no, Big Spoon would be so bad. We'll name that one Large Spoon. But then there's 2 LS's.
Well, just one of the L's is bigger.
And it's all a pile of big spoons to me.
Perfect. And as Dahlia's coming up, and and sort of thinking about what might be on there. Will it be? Is it Big Spoon or would it be Pig Spoon? I don't know.
Dahlia, quit naming the food.
To be
off
food.
To your left, you suddenly hear not so much a rustling as a crashing, a crunching through the undergrowth. And you hear this.
I'm grabbing my axe at that.
And out of the bushes bursts a pig, huge, barreling down towards you. I would like you to make an awareness roll. This is your encounter.
Alrighty. Awareness would be a d12 and 2d6. Ooh, we've got in total of 15, but one of the die was a 6.
Mm-hmm. So, and 15, does that meet your target number?
Oh, that's right. That's how that works. Awareness. Ooh, my target number is 17.
Oh, so unfortunately in that case, the 6 does not add anything special because you missed the target number. So you, of course, notice this.
Does Mama Pig look hostile to this situation? That's what I'm getting here.
Oh, she's barreling right towards Dahlia, who's there with the little
since Dahlia is my bond or whatever, is there something I can do with that?
Oh, your fellowship focus, you have to. Yeah. Okay. If you want to do something like that, so you can support somebody in their role, but you have to announce that before the roll.
Okay.
Same with spending hope. If you want to spend hope on yourself to aid yourself, you have to announce that before a roll.
For the next time Dahlia is trampled by a pig.
We can't spend
at least
hope.
with Mama Spoon.
We can't spend hope, Kris. We need her for the whole stream. Gosh.
You've just been waiting for that, haven't you?
Yes, all day.
Little posted, like, if this comes up, make a joke. So Dahlia is aware of this large pig barreling towards her, but unfortunately, just a little too late. By the time you're starting to react, Mama Pig barrels into you, bowls you over, and you feel something stab you. It's like she's bitten you as well, and you receive a wound. So what that means is, first of all, you check the wounded on your character sheet. In game terms, that means while you're wounded, you only recover endurance very slowly, but we also have to roll how bad that is. So I would like you to roll a d12 for me.
Alrighty, a d12 will be a 2.
Yeah, this is bad. This bites you in the arm, bites all the way through. You feel the teeth graze bone. You jerk your arm away, preventing the worst. But this is the kind of wound that it will take 2 days to heal. This is a bad puncture wound. Actually, wait. So it's not maybe quick. Interesting. In this case, it's actually better if you roll low. Yeah. Cool. So you cry out. You rush away. Mama Pig just keeps barreling through the camp, just taking enough time to sort of, round up her little pigs and move them off into the brush. And they as she comes out of the barreling out of the brush, they start moving already anyway. So in the blink of an eye, it's over, and the only memory, unfortunately, you have of that is a really badly bleeding gash in your arm. If somebody would like, yeah.
Talking about memories and having things, during that time of looking at the pigs, would I would have had enough time to like undo one of the collars, preferably from Little Spoon?
Make a craft roll.
I'm sorry, what roll? Oh, craft? Alright. Oh boy, I didn't see what the D12 went to. There's too many dice on my screen.
Oh, there's a button at the top that says pick up dice.
Oh, okay. How do
Your
I see
D12
what
was
the
a
roll
1.
was? It was 1? Okay.
Yeah, total of 8, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that does not beat my target number at all.
No, you don't. It's a leather thong as well. You would have probably had to cut it. When that gets pulled and it's wet and it becomes completely to untie that. So unfortunately, you don't get that that little memento. For the wound, if somebody would like to make a healing roll, you can try and reduce the severity of the wound.
I'm pretty good at healing.
That's good, because I'm not.
Yeah, so I would pretty much immediately jump up, grab my shield and my axe, and just start banging them together, chasing this pig off, and look back and see Dahlia bleeding from the arm. Dahlia. Sit down, kid. This is why you don't play with wild animals. I'm gonna go into my bag and I pull out this leather satchel, this really clearly homemade leather satchel that's just really more just like a pelt that's held together by a leather string. And I'm gonna take a water bottle and pour a little bit in there and mix it up a bit. I have as one of my traveling gear a healing balm.
So you use the item, which means that adds another success die to your roll.
Another d6.
Another d6. Yep.
Okay. I am also favored in healing, so that is 2d12. Take the higher. 2 pips, and then 1 more from my useful item. Roll those dice. I assume, even though 11 is higher than 4, it is bad, so I don't have to take it. Okay. I'm not sure that's gonna work, though. That's 10, 13. That's not gonna cut it.
Yeah. So you're able to aid her and to minister her to a wound, but unfortunately, what you can do is sort of staunch the flow of blood and tie it up and make sure it's clean, but it won't reduce the severity of the wound. So this will be a wound for 2 days. In game terms, that means you check the box for the wounded for wounded. For player characters, once you receive a second wound, you're considered dying, and then it gets dire. And you recover endurance more slowly while you are wounded. Until that wound is gone, you'll be much slower to recover from. This was
gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go over to Dahlia and kneel down, and a lot more gently than you would expect from Leiknir's demeanor. Just take her arm and take a cloth and wipe it off. Apply the healing balm. I'd probably have some really big flat leaves that I can use as makeshift bandages and whatnot. I'm just gonna it like you said, it's not enough to mechanically do anything, but I'm going to just tend to that. I probably have these little sugar chews or something that I keep just for Dahlia. It's like giving a lollipop to a kid after the doctor's office.
That was a much nicer thought than I had, because I was like, it's like giving a horse a sugar cube.
A little bit of medicine on there as well. Yeah.
Thank
This is
you,
quite an
Leiknir.
ordeal for all of you. so this will affect how you start out your travels as well. I mean, Arabeth was woken up way too early anyway. And it disturbed all of your sleep, and it draws on you a little bit. So you'll take another 3 points of fatigue for that leg of the journey.
All of us?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That's not good.
How do we restore fatigue?
You have to rest in a safe place. So during a journey, you cannot get rid. At the end of fatigue, at the end of the journey, you'll have a chance to get rid of some of the fatigue.
I did not realize that just traveling was so fatiguing. I might be in trouble.
Traveling can be strenuous, yeah. Plus, you've been rolling terribly.
Yeah, that too.
Right. But you do head out again. Through the forest, further north, following Johann's signposts, landmarks, the indications he's given you, which way to travel. The weather has changed a little bit. It's still warm, but the sun is mostly hidden behind clouds for much of the day, now and then peeking through. And you are noticing that the forest starts to change as well. Where before it was a nice, bright, airy forest, very light green, early summer, oak and beech trees mostly, with some undergrowth like blueberries and mosses and grasses. It begins to change them further north you go. Mostly and firs. The trunks like columns around you in this gloom surrounding the dark needles, the boughs with dense dark needles let through, much less light than before. Forest floor is largely a carpet of brown needles, very little grows. Here and there is an oak or a beech tree, but look different here. They look kind of gray. And the leaves are almost a bit like grayish, ragged, more like rags or torn paper than leaves. I'd like the guide to make another travel roll for that. There you go.
Okay. Once again, 2d12 take the higher, 3d6. That is plenty. 23 versus 17.
There's plenty. Any sixes in there?
Not on the d6.
Okay. Excellent. So you do travel quite far through this part of the forest. Let's see. Who has not? Oh, Dahlia, you have not rolled the d12 for what occurs during a journey yet.
Would that be the awareness roll then?
No,
Or
just the
just the
d12.
Another 2.
Interesting.
It was almost a 12 that like tilted and then it went back to a 2.
Isn't that always the case? Almost there, and then, oh no. As you are traveling through this part of the forest, none of you have ever been in this part of the forest, this far north, in the Chetwood. You're looking around, you kind of think, maybe a good reason, this is not the most pleasant forest to be in. And yet it feels kind of strange, especially for Arabeth and Leiknir. You've traveled all over Breland, and yet the path has never taken you through this part of the Chetwood. Strange. And as you're traveling through this gloom under the trees, who's this guy? Oh, right. Oz. Do you remember? You remember stories. You being sort of the one in this company to collect little tidbits and information and whispers and rumors and all around Breland. You have heard occasionally somebody mentioning, often with a little embarrassed laugh or sort of a throwaway hand gesture, that there's people telling of part of the Chetwood that people don't go to. People avoid, consciously or not. That feels different and old and not dark per se, but unfriendly, unwelcoming. And you're all walking through, and you're realizing why that would be. This feels not just different from the previous part of the forest, but uncomfortable. Everything's gloomy and dark and not dead, but old, not lifeless, but not vibrant. And as you realize, everything looks very much the same in all directions. Trees all kind of look the same. The brown, bare, pine needle ground is relatively featureless, except for the occasional, hills and dells. But there's little for the mind to hold on to and find your path. I don't remember Johann talking about that at all. I'd like you to make an explore roll.
Alright, I think to help myself out here, because I've got just one pip in explore, can I spend a point of hope to give myself an extra success die, please?
You can, and remember, if a distinctive feature of yours would arguably narratively apply, you could be considered to be inspired for that role, and it would give you 2 extra dice instead of 1.
Ooh. Well, I do, so I have folklore, and the way you talk about it, the way people whisper about these parts of the woods and all that kind of stuff, I feel that seems a bit folklorish, perhaps?
Nice. Yes, absolutely. So you can spend a point of hope and you will get 2 extra success dice.
Alright, so that'll give me 3d6 on top of the 12. I can't possibly imagine... Oh, no, wait, the 11! No! The 11's the Eye of Sauron. And for anyone who's just joined us on the One Ring dice, the 11 is the Eye of Sauron, and it's very bad. Oh.
And this is what, the third one we've rolled tonight?
Yes.
You people. This is why I'm here.
There was another one.
Doomed from the start.
I think there was the 4th Eye of Sauron even, but the roll was favored, so you didn't have to take it. Yeah. Well, in many cases, it really just counts as a 0. But who knows? So, do you meet your target number?
My target number is 15. So the 2 6s and the 3 would, I guess, meet the target number still.
You still meet the target number. You succeed on your roll.
Oh.
Ironic, even though your D12 is a 0.
Take that, Sauron.
That's right. So you feel that disorientation creep in. You feel a little bit of worry, a little bit of all of you beginning to realize that Oz seems to be looking around an awful lot. This way. Time's a little bit zigzaggy almost. Like, wait, but didn't we go in this direction before? Why? And then, but you're not sure. Like, which way do we need to go? But because the roll succeeded, you do ward off that kind of despair creeping in, and that kind of worry, and that kind of disorientation. You do not take a point. It takes you all quite a while to travel through this leg of the journey. So everybody takes another 2 fatigue points.
Could I, since this is a learn how to play the game, can I ask for a rules clarification?
Yeah.
I'm specifically looking at the resting rules on page 71, where it details short rests and prolonged rests.
Yeah.
And it does say that you can recover fatigue points on short and long rests. The only thing it says about requiring a safe and comfortable place is that the lore master may allow the group to take more than 1 prolonged rest if the player heroes are recovering in a safe and comfortable place. Otherwise, a long rest, usually a night's sleep, you would recover all lost endurance points. Am I understanding that incorrectly?
Endurance, yes. but not fatigue.
Not fatigue.
So if you've been injured during combat, a short rest allows you to recover some of that endurance. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dolly's looking really tired.
You said 2 points?
2 extra points.
And this is still fatigue plus load needs to be under your total endurance score.
That is correct.
Okay, alright.
Ooh, getting up there.
Yeah, you've accumulated 8 fatigue points in a short journey.
I don't know if I like this place. It's getting kind of dreary. Are we getting close to getting out of this area?
It's funny you should say that, because I'm not entirely sure how we got into this area. Certainly doesn't seem like the kind of place that you'd see a beautiful, grassy, flowery glen. But I'm also, I mean, we're already in it. Might as well push through, right? Right?
Sure, the only way out is through, so I guess we just keep going.
And just as Dahlia says that, half believing it, maybe, you glimpse ahead of you a little bit of sunlight in between, or break through the gloom in between the pine tree trunks. A little bit of golden sunlight, a little bit of green in the distance. And as you're getting closer, you see that up ahead of you, there seems to be an open space. You see in between the tree trunks in the distance a clearing surrounded by birch trees, covered in thick green grass, ferns, few flowers, a few large rocks covered in vines. You hear birdsong, and you hear a voice. Not saying words, singing, but not a song. More sort of vocalizing the music. And a figure flitting through the clearing here and there, between the trees, from rock to tree, through the grass or among the ferns. And
Must be Sulawen. Did I say it right? Sulawen?
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. That must be Sulawen. We should go get her, say hello, and then get out of here.
And I think we can consider the journey at an end. So because that set piece comes to an end, you have an opportunity to get rid of some of the fatigue points.
That would be a great plan.
Yeah.
By making a travel roll.
Do we all do that individually?
Yeah, you each make a travel roll for yourself.
Oh boy.
Hey.
No.
It's like, no. The dice roller's like, no. you don't get to.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Oh, that's a 12 plus a 6 plus a 3.
Ooh. So let's go down. Whose was the first? Because I mostly see anonymous on the roller. Who was the first one who rolled?
Mine was a 9.
Yours is the 9.
Yeah.
Oh, because you don't have any pips on the travel.
Nope.
Okay. So that means you probably miss your target number. I'm guessing you don't have a 9 on travel.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm
So
so tired.
You don't manage to get rid of any of that fatigue. However, you do have a pony. I think you have what was your standard of living?
Common, I believe.
So I think your pony has a vigor of 1. Did we write that down?
Yep.
Yeah. So you get to take off 1 point of fatigue because you've had your pony with you.
Aw, thank you, Teacup.
Is Klaus the next one then? Sorry, Oz.
Mine is labeled. I did not succeed. I fell too short of my target number of 15. I got a 13, so.
Ah, so close. Yeah, same thing. So you don't get to reduce the travel fatigue with your travel roll, but I think you also have a mount that has a vigor of 1, right?
It seems possible. I don't know if I didn't write it down, so.
Because your standard of living is common too, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you get to take off 1 point. Aribeth, you succeeded. What did you have? A 12, which is a Gandalf rune, so that's an auto success already.
Yep.
Do you have any 6s on your roll?
I do. Yes, I have 1 6.
Nice. So you get to reduce it by 2 points. Plus, you two have a mount of 1 vigor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you get to reduce your travel fatigue by a total of 3 points.
Sweet.
And last but not least, Lightning. I forget which of these rolls is yours.
I tried to roll once and nothing happened, so I refreshed the page and rolled and it actually worked, so I'm going to use the one I see. I got a 25, which easily works. Yeah.
Yeah.
That includes 2 6s.
2 6s, so that's 3 points of fatigue taken off just from the travel roll.
Okay.
And I believe you have a mount with a vigor of 2 because you're a rich dwarf, a prosperous dwarf, so that's another 2 points off, so a total of 5 fatigue points off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot better.
Dwarves are good at traveling. So as you are approaching this clearing, for some of you, this is so relieving. Some of the fatigue just falls off of you. It's just so invigorating to see that green shine through the trees, especially after this dark part of the forest. For others, that dark part and the travel just weighs more heavily on you, Dahlia. You're still feeling that wound that the pig dealt you. So you start approaching that clearing with various levels of energy and enthusiasm, maybe. Shall we take a quick break here as you're approaching the clearing, and then we'll come back and see what happens with that?
Sounds good. We'll take a little 5-10 minute break and be back here shortly, folks.
Yeah, folks, don't go anywhere.
Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're going to learn how to play the Cypher system. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness, Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actor's directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actor's directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness. Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actor's directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness, Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some kind of double Tarrasque. Then the player rolls a defense task. After 3 rolls you fall short, you fail. 5e to Pathfinder 1st Edition is not a step. A person can move as many meters or yards as their speed stat. Try to make a thrown or short-range attack. Less math, more special words. I have special words. The actor's directory is where you will keep your players, non-player characters, monsters, and various horses. Your hard encounter is now a cakewalk. All because you forgot about the most important part of encounter difficulty, the action economy. Want to bring in an on-keg for them to fight. Try to remember how the hell to spell on-keg. Done! How many multi-classes do you have?
4.
Strength plus brawl minus the target's defense. Wow, you got really mad for a second, mister. Holy damn it, Christmas! Are you still here? Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. We're gonna learn how to play the Cipher System. Fate, Chronicles of Darkness, Foundry VTT. Well, hey there, sport. Looks like your players are in a bit of a pickle. Shapes! But I can't draw for beans!
Hey, you know what? Here, have a potion of water breathing.
Finally! Chugs it and leaps out a space window into space.
That doesn't work that way.
A warrior who controls beasts has a decidedly different feel than an explorer who controls beasts. 1 lethal damage per success, plus weapon modifier. No measured out templates to see if that fireball just manages to hit all 5 Tarrasques. RP!
It is your destiny.
It is literally the easiest thing to do. Have them fight 50 cockatrice and shadows, or a lich with an AC of 30, or some...
And welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for staying with us. If you just joined us, or you joined at some point partway through the first half, our brave company has made their way through the Chetwood, the forest near Bree, after agreeing to help a shepherd youth find his long lost love and maybe help them elope, or whatever their plan may be. We've had very fatiguing travel, but managed to barely avoid falling into a pit with sharpened stakes, and did not avoid an aggressive pig. But they've reached their goal, it looks like. In front of you, you see a clearing with this figure whirling, dancing in between the plants. This figure looks very tall, long flowing hair, very slender, very slight, long limbs, long torso, very sharp features in the face. Dark brown, long hair, sort of a tan, dark tan, maybe. And clothing that both seems tight-fitting and loose. Various textures, some smooth, some frilly, some almost sort of rough, hard patches, and various browns and greens, and sort of blends of those colors. And you hear them sort of sing, warble, just sound out a song while they're dancing. What would you like to do?
Should we go say hello?
I think we give it enough time, it'll do it on its own. Stay close, Dahlia. This whole situation's got my whiskers twitching.
You don't have whiskers. I would have noticed that.
It's a lovely tune, don't you think?
Oh, the beard whiskers. I thought you meant cat whiskers.
And you imagine him with the little kitty whiskers.
Oh, he'd be so cute. Actually, I might have some cat whiskers in my bag.
Probably.
Oh yes, this one was from, I named him Scrunchy, and he was out in an alleyway one day, and he came up to me, rubbed up against
Scrunchy
my
in the
leg.
alleyway, and
She's holding this one tiny little whisker. Puts it back in the bag.
you're a weird kid, Dahlia.
Well,
Alright, let's get out of this creepy forest and into that not at all creepy, very convenient bright patch over there.
I bet she's nice. Sulawen Day, calling out and waving hello.
So clearly Dahlia steps out into this clearing from among the trees. How about the rest of you?
Oh yeah, Dahlia doesn't get more than like 3 of my little dwarf paces away from me.
Yep, step up beside her and kind of...
I am definitely watching, but not stepping up. Like, I'm more kind of hanging back and staying a little cautious.
Okay. So you are staying between in among the trees.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 3 of you who are stepping forward, you leave the gloom of the pine forest, this northern part of the Chetwood, and you step through a loose row of tall birch trees that surrounds the edge of the glade, all around this clearing. And as you do so, you step into this clearing. There's suddenly warm sunlight. Whereas in the forest, it was certainly no sunlight. It was sort of gloomy and grayish light in there and overcast all day. Here it is pleasant and warm. The air is fragrant. You see butterflies on some of the flowers all around the glade. You hear birds, which were completely absent in forest before. And a wind on your face, and you realize the air had not been moving in this pine forest part. You suddenly realize how much had been absent in that part of the journey. So Dahlia steps forward. And this figure who's sort of dancing and twirling takes a few more steps and then turns around to you. Sees all three of you. Visitors! Hello! Oh, this is rare. Hello! It's been a while. Come in. And they wave you forward.
Here of your lover, Johann. He was playing this lovely song about you, and so we're here to see why you haven't written him in a while.
Writing, you say? Oh, I don't.
Stopping by. The young man pines for ye.
You realize how creepy this all sounds, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe this was not the right idea. Maybe there was a reason why his parents didn't allow him to be with her. Oops.
What's his name? I don't remember.
I don't think we ever bothered. I don't know, there's some boy who thinks you're cute. He's that way. Are we done here?
But he told you to call for Johann if you needed to find him.
Well, it was longer than he thought. He was looking for some sheep, and he said he saw you dancing and that you were so beautiful and that you two were, like, together. But then his dad didn't like that because apparently you'd only, known each other for a day or something. And so his dad said, you couldn't see each other anymore and that you promised that you'd write him. But he said he hadn't received any letters. But now I think this might be one of those situations where sometimes, one person's a little bit more invested than the other one is. So I guess if that's the case, we can just let Johann know that you're not interested and it's totally fine, and we'll completely respect your boundaries.
A little bird. You talk like a little bird. Delightful.
Oh, thank you. I'm often more called a flower. My name is Dahlia, and it's after these little flowers here. But it's very nice to be compared to a really pretty bird. I like that. Thank you.
They stoop down, pick up a flower from the ground. Oh no, not like a flower much. Here. Johann. Oh. Remember? Oh. Well, that was a long time ago.
What?
Okay, I forget really easy too.
But how long do you think? Because the lad didn't look terribly old. So I mean, what's long to you?
Oh, what is long to me is beyond your capacity.
Well, that's true of a lot of things.
What is long to you? Sometimes just a fading of a flower to me. But tell me, you spoke to Johann?
Yes, we did.
Well, to be fair, he did most of the speaking to us.
Poor boy. What did he say? When was this? Where?
Oh, day ago. Days travel south. Out of the less sunny part of the woods we happen to be in, one might say. Yes, he was doing a little doot on his flute there.
It is a friendly part of the forest. It's been a while since I have been that far.
Well, safe journey back then. I think we've done what we've come here to do.
I mean, he did ask us to escort her back. That was part of what sounded like a much more fanciful adventure in my head, but
Is nobody else at all concerned about a scantily clad woman in the middle of some dark, dreary forest?
Airbeth is in the background going, me! I am! Absolutely!
Well covered. I want to... Up close, in fact, because the three of you are now much closer and they are standing still. The clothing is has a variety of textures. It almost looks like bits like bark, bits like leaves, bits have texture of smoother, like beech bark, beech trees, very, very smooth skin, some are very gnarled bits. Their face too, skin is sort of, yes, it's a dark tan, almost like hazelnut brown, but it's sort of shot through with these slightly lighter patches and lines. And their eyes are these deep green shimmering pools.
Well,
Did Johann tell you to seek me?
Yes, he did. I think I said that. Well, are you wanting to still speak with Johann? Because I'm kind of worried that maybe this isn't a two-way thing, and maybe it's just a one-way thing.
Oh, but I cannot speak to Johann.
Well,
He's dead.
I did forbid it.
Don't you see? Didn't you know? Died a long time ago.
He didn't look very dead.
You wouldn't happen to
tracks.
know what killed the poor lad, would you? Because it didn't do a great job. I'll say that much.
Expect he pined away. Came and saw me one day a long time ago. And we danced for a day in the grass. And then he went away. Back to where his home was, because he could not join me in my home. Saw him a few times after, but every time I saw him, he seemed less there. Danced less.
Right. Well, you seem to have a fine grasp of the situation. We said what we needed to. Apparently we're working for a dead guy, so I think it's time to go home. And I'm just gonna start, nudging Dahlia.
She'll move back willingly.
Yes, very
Maybe,
nice.
pull out Oswald by his, what I assume is a fanciful coat. We were doing the backing up out of this clearly bad situation.
Maybe we should go find Johann again.
Yep, very nice to meet you. We'll go tell Johann that he's too busy.
That he's dead. I'm sure he'd be glad to know.
Oh, he will not take that kindly. And if he does not find rest, I'm Sure, he'll just find the next ones to send. You see, you're not the first ones. You'll not be the last ones he has sent.
Well, what do the other ones do?
Much what you're about to do. Wash your hands. Go your ways. Just a boy.
Oh, well, Leichner, now I feel like a bit of a prat. We can't just... We can't just leave this be. This is gone from a beautiful, exciting young love story to a tragic love story, but we have to get a bit of an ending.
Apparently it's a ghost story.
That's the tragic part.
Yeah.
There might be a way. Did he show you his ring?
Yes. Offered to us as payment when we escorted you back to, run away with him, which seems like a bad idea with him being,
Dead.
Yes.
Yes, his ring. He gave it to me one day, and they hold out a hand, and on that hand is a ring. A simple gold band.
Yeah, but not like the simple gold band. It's not whispering to us in a dark voice, is it?
she holds it out and says, "Go ahead. It's quite cool."
But oh so heavy. No. I mean, who knows? No. Somebody else has that at this point. They hold it out.
It's the other One Ring.
This is the One Ring 2E.
Yeah, and that's it. Wrap up. There we go. Title sequence.
Right.
Sorry. Well, yes, it was that ring, or it is, or it's not.
Oh,
Maybe he had the ghost version of it.
he does not remember. He thinks he still has it. Take this and bury it with him, and maybe that will give him rest.
Oswald will reach out and hand shaking a little bit, but his face just trying to smile bravely, like, sure, why not? Take the ring and... yeah, okay.
Find his body. Bury the ring with him. And maybe that will break the cycle.
Well, we know where his, not real body is. Do you know where his real body is?
Probably not far. Not far from where he appears to travelers.
Well, I'm gonna go back that way. Is there a way where we don't have to go through the creepy part right there?
Oh, you didn't like that part of my forest?
Oh, your forest. Oh, well, it's a very lovely forest. But that one was,
Fine landscaping.
it was just very dreary.
Wonderful pigs.
Oh, yeah, your mama's spoon pig needs a little bit of a temper adjustment, but otherwise, the little spoon, medium spoon, and then the large little spoon, they were all wonderful.
Do not know of which you speak.
Oh, they weren't your pigs? Oh, sorry. Don't worry about that, then. But otherwise, yes, lovely forest home. I especially love this part, but I'd like to stay in parts that are similar to this and not so dreary. I like the comfy parts of the forest.
Very well. You'll pass through. I'll make sure you pass without issue.
Well, thank you. See, like, near all you have to do is smile a little bit, and there you go, and you make friends.
Goodbye. He withdraws, takes a few steps behind the birch tree, and is gone.
I take a couple flowers, preferably ones that, like, would have matched her, like, any, like, deep green things that, like, would have matched her eyes. As a token of this exchange.
Aribeth, you've been watching this from afar.
Yeah. The whole thing just felt really like awkward to her, even from the start. Like, there's something very off about this, although it didn't quite go the way that I expected it to. So yeah, I think let me look at something on my sheet. Oh yeah, no, that's a bad idea.
Just remember, I meant to run this as a council, but
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
Well, it's all good.
You succeeded on all your skill checks.
Go team. Is there any way that I could maybe because we need to figure out where his like body is actually is.
Yeah.
Is that right? I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correct.
Mm-hmm. That's
okay. Is there any way that I could roll lore to see if there's like any stories that I've heard in passing about something that sounds vaguely like what she's saying that might put us on the right track?
Yes, absolutely. So trying to figure out whether you've heard stories about people meeting someone in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's yep, D12, 2d6. That's a 14 with a 9, a 3, and a 2, and I need a 15. But I didn't roll an 11 this time.
Woo! It's the only thing that matters.
Right?
No more eyes. Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't remember anybody really talking about having met Johann or the boy who went into the woods and never came back. You get the sense, certainly from what Sulawen was saying, that while this has happened before, this doesn't happen a lot. And whatever happened to Johann seems to have happened a while ago.
All right. So, yeah, I'll relay that to everybody, just kind of saying, like, yeah, I can't come up with anything that... I don't know of any stories that line up with this.
Well, I think the best bet might be going back, retracing our steps, and maybe even finding the farm. I'm sure it sounded like his family really cared for him, so maybe he's at his farm.
Could be.
As a warden, how familiar would I be with ghosts and what is apparently not an archfey?
Definitely not an archfey.
Definitely not an archfey. A different universe.
Yeah.
I would say ghosts. That would be sort of a shadow lore kind of deal. So you you definitely have a certain understanding of the kinds of spirits, especially malicious spirits, sent by the Dark Lord and serving the Shadow. What is it you're trying to figure out?
Which of these two creepy things is more likely to try to kill us?
I would say somebody can make a lore check on that. I'll allow a lore check on that to try and figure out, like, what are we dealing with here. And if somebody wants to support another person with a hope point, that...
I will.
I have a pip in lore, so I could roll. It's not my best ability, but since I asked the question, I'm happy to roll.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm here to support you. Pom-poms in
I mean,
the air.
I have 2 in lore, but I just did a lore check.
Yeah, and two different things. So what does that support mean mechanically for me?
Well, ordinarily it would mean you would gain 1 more success die, unless if you're somebody's fellowship focus, then you get 2 extra. But if it's just sort of an ordinary, I'll support you, I'll spend a point of hope, you gain an additional success die.
Okay. So that is a D12, 1D6 for my pip in the skill, and another for support. I assume I only get 1 support, right? Only one person can support? Yeah.
Right. You can double up and you can spend a point of hope on yourself as well. You could do that. And that would give you yet another success die.
Yeah, sure. Currency is there to spend. That bumps me up to 3d6.
All the hope you have.
And that's a whole bunch of nothing. That's an 11 against a 16.
Womp womp.
I would say this is largely in part because you are, but neither gives you the sense that these are servants of the Shadow. At least so far, Johann has given you no indication to suggest that you'd be some kind of, Barrow White or some other kind of malicious spirit. And Sulawen does not seem to fit that kind of thing at all. She's something entirely different. Or they are something entirely different. Sorry.
Alright. Back through the creepy forest, then.
Yay, creepy forest. Let's go.
Running errands for fairies and dead people.
I'm happy to hand wave that journey because you've done a lot of journeying already, very intense, fatiguing journeying so far. More than ordinarily maybe you would for that kind of distance. So I think we can the trek back is very much in reverse. First you have to traverse that gloomy pine forest, although this time it does not quite feel as gloomy, as oppressive, as confusing as it did before. Maybe it's because you reached your goal, you know now what's ahead, you know that you're going to make it through and there's going to be much nicer forest ahead, but it doesn't quite feel as oppressive. And then as you're reaching the southern parts of the Chetwood again, and it becomes much more greener and a bit the air feels fresher, and there's a bit of a wind, and there's more plant growth all around you, and blueberries. Oh, such good blueberries. You eventually make it. I think by the evening of the day, you make it back to where you met Johann the last time.
What should we call out for him and see if he'll lead us to his grave, or should we just be looking for that ourselves, you think?
Hey, flute kid. Where you at?
I think we call his name, but Sulawen did say that he might not be very helpful. Otherwise, we could just call him, Johann. Yoo-hoo.
And as you call the name, you hear a bit off into the distance, off in the forest, a little flute, a few notes, and then the voice singing a few snatches of a song, and then the flute again, and around a set of bushes comes Johann. Shepherd's crook over his shoulder, awkwardly but balancing it while playing his flute occasionally, and then he sings.
I've got to admit, the music's a bit creepier knowing what we know about him now.
Oh, a lot creepier now. Oz, you can talk to him then.
Oh, great. Johann, my boy. How are things?
How you living?
He waves. Oh, well met. You're back. What news?
We did find Sulawen. Lovely as you said.
Shepherd's crook falls to the ground. He just drops everything.
Lovely as you said, wonderful hostess. But she did bring up the fact. Well, you see, what I'm trying to say is, have you noticed that you don't feel maybe 100% lately? Like, have you been feeling a bit down?
It's true.
Would someone like to, Arabeth, would you like to take this one? I don't do so well with bad news.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's just nothing. I just figure you're someone who, you're a little bit, I think that you are a strong person who is able to handle difficult situations a bit better than I.
That was well worded. Good job.
So here's what we're gonna do, because I failed to remember that I wanted to do the encounter with Sulawen as a council. This as a council, this works too, because you're trying to convince somebody who's very much convinced that they're still alive of the opposite.
Actually, before we enter council, kind of while Oz is, convincing Arabeth to kind of take the narrative there, can I use my burglary feature to steal his little loot as a token?
His flute?
Yeah, well that's what like she does. That's why she's a treasure hunter. She's like always grabbing little things here and there that like remind her of fun events. And I mean, he's not gonna be able to use it. I don't know how he's even playing it without any wind in his lungs. But yeah, so can I just kind of like reach out, like grab it, pocket it kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's totally distracted by the news that you found Sulawen.
So like to roll for that, then would that be like a stealth roll? But does that give the extra D12 due to that being one of the features?
Burglary, because it's a feature, it would give you. It would mean you're inspired if you try a skill roll and you spend a point of hope, and so then your point of hope would give you 2 extra success dice instead of just 1.
Alright.
And it allows you to do things that others maybe. So I think let's do that as a stealth roll.
Alright, so if I spend hope, I roll 2 d12s or 2 extra d12s?
2 extra d6s.
Oh, okay. So 12, then 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3 pips. Oh boy, lots of numbers. Oh, that's a lot of counting to do. 10, 15. That's over 16, so it's a pass.
Do you have any 6s in there?
Ooh, I do have a 6.
Okay. So you're extra stealthy, extra careful. He's completely distracted. He doesn't. His clothing barely moves as you slip it out of his belt. It's his little flute, just a small little, hand carved, clearly.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's do this as a council, which means first of all somebody. Usually it's sort of with audiences. So often it's like the first person and introduces the company. In this case, you've met Johann before, so we'll say like this is your role to try and introduce the topic, the idea that he might not be alive. And you have options of 3 different options for a skill roll. Like one person has to do it, but it can be awe, courtesy, or riddle.
Oh, I'm very good at courtesy. Ooh.
I'm pretty good at all. I'm happy. Leignir's approach would be just going, "Hey kid, you're dead," and just straight truth, shocking them into it. But I'm happy to have other people do something.
That would be the awe approach. Look, kid, you're dead. Yeah.
What about Airbeth after Oswald was trying to convince you to broach this topic?
I know. Well, she's not really a people person, so her approach would probably be pretty similar. Like, so I don't know how to break this to you, but you're dead. So that's a problem. Yeah, she's just not somebody that should be handling other people very well, and she's very aware of this fact.
What's it gonna be?
Excuse me.
Does have the ring, which might help whoever is speaking. It might help kind of break through.
I suppose, yeah, if Arabeth doesn't feel like going for it, Oz will eventually try and get it out.
So you're gonna use courtesy as your skill to broach the topic?
I will, and I've got it. That's one of my feature. It's real good.
Before you make the roll, what's it gonna look like? What's going to be the?
I think he's
How
gonna
are you
like
introduce them?
He looks panically to the others, like, "Oh, how do I do this?" And he finally just takes a breath and looks and goes, "Johann, I'm afraid perhaps the pain of love lost is had such a profound effect on you. It has carried over with you, and you don't seem to even realize it, but I'm afraid that you've left the world of the living, and it is this pain that has caused you to cling on, for, my dear boy, you have passed." And he will hold up the ring. You had already given the ring to Sulawen, and she's asked us to return it. I'm deeply sorry.
Okay, make your courtesy roll.
Alright, so I get to roll, since it's featured, I get the 2d12 and then 3d6 for my 3 courtesy, right?
Oh, it's favored? Yeah. So
favored.
2d12,
Yeah, favored, that's
take
it.
the better.
We bump it up even more with some hope, and I'll just kind of give him like a thumbs up and an encouraging smile.
Okay. You spend a point of hope to support him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I will too, because I'm like, you're doing this way more than I am, and you, like, she'll Arabeth will look at Dahlia and kind of be like, awkward smile, good job.
Only one person can support at a time with a point
okay.
of hope. So that's not stackable.
Alright.
But yeah.
Here we go. So, let's see. The higher of my 2 is a 7, so that's an 18, which absolutely hits my target number of 15.
Okay. Any 6s in there?
No 6s, I'm afraid.
No 6s. Okay. So, you hold up that ring and you give your speech, and Johann looks at you, but that cannot be. Why? How came you by my gold ring?
Ollie takes a step back, worried that he noticed that his lute is missing.
Right. How came you by this ring?
Sulawen had it. You'd given it to her.
So you've successfully sown some doubt here with your successful introduction. So in game terms, the council then is like a skill challenge, right? Where you have to meet a certain number of successes before you reach, in this case, a certain number of before you've made a certain number of rolls. Because your introductory roll was a success, you have 4 rolls that you can make, like 4 different skill rolls for the whole company. You're introducing a rather difficult topic, trying to convince him of something rather difficult to. So the resistance to that topic, so the number of skill that you have to, the number of successes you have to accumulate. Theoretically, I should probably call it an outrageous request, but you have the ring. So there's some doubt now. So I'll call it a bold request. So you have to meet 6 successes within 4 rolls. And so that's achievable because when you succeed on a roll, you can gain additional successes with 6s. Right, as you make a skill roll and you meet your target number, that's 1 success, and then if you have for each additional 6 that you rolled on the d6s, you gain an additional success. So mechanically, you're free to choose who makes rolls, although it might be a good idea to sort of spread that out a bit. And there's a number of skills you can use. And we can adjudicate that a little bit and maybe change it a little bit if you feel a different skill applies in this particular case. But theoretically, enhearten, insight, persuade, riddle, and song apply.
Good marks in courtesy and enhearten. So I might be able to make him brave enough to show us his grave or to face his fate.
Okay.
I'm pretty good with insight, but so I could help out there. I mean, we got 4 rolls, so it seems like there's perfect one for each of us to try something.
I think my plan would still be come in with the cold hard truth whenever it needs to drop, but I'm gonna let other people be nice and all that.
Let's start with Inharten. I think this was a great idea to have this. Like, you try and help him find the courage to see that, to admit that reality.
I'm gonna support Dahlia on this, since she's my favored bond, or whatever it is called.
The fellowship focus, yeah.
The fellowship focus, yeah. So I'll go over and kneel down. All right. You're real good at connecting people, making them feel good about themselves. You need to talk to this kid. You're gonna be a lot better at this than I am.
Oh, like near. Well, with that, you're really good.
Yeah. Go talk to the kid.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
So Lightner spends a point of hope.
Alrighty. Dahlia will walk forward. I know this is really, really hard to accept, but we did talk to Sulawen, and again, she gave us this ring, and she said it had been a very long time, and she wanted you to find some rest too. Which I know it's very hard, but if you're resting, you won't be feeling this loss or this pain anymore. So we could help you. Again, we've got the ring, we've got you. If you happen to remember where your body might be, maybe you could take us back to your farm, where your family really cares about you. We could take you back there so you're surrounded with people that you know that really cherish you. And we're gonna go ahead and roll.
Do you roll with an extra 2 d6s, 2 extra success dice?
Alright, so that's 6, 7, 9, 10. That's 18. And my target number was a 13. And then no 6s, but...
No 6s. Okay, so you make your first roll in the council and you gain 1 success. Okay. But... 'tis not possible. I heal and walk and sing and think of her all day. How my sheep are... And you see a little bit of doubt creep in. Who would like to do the next roll?
I'm okay trying to hit him with a little insight.
Okay.
So I am going to use some hope myself to improve that roll. And I feel like I'm gonna try and say that I'm using one of my features. I'm patient. And so I'm gonna try and very patiently explain this to him calmly. Sit him down and explain. And for insight, that's a favorite as well, so...
And how does the insight, rather than being persuasive, how does the insight feature here?
So the insight, I'm going to... basically... Oh, here, I'll just kind of RP it out. He is going to go forward and kneel down a bit and go, "Now, think about this, lad. The 2 times that we've talked, you've struggled to remember certain things, whether or not you found the sheep, where your sheep are now. We called your name in the middle of a forest after 2 days, and you just showed up. Come walking through the woods out of nowhere. We walk a day into these woods, find a lady who seems to be made of the forest and spirits and heaven knows what and everything. she's already got your ring. I have your ring. You seen these pudgy fingers? The only thing they're quick at grabbing is a mug of ale. I'm not going to be able to take this from you without you noticing. Mark my words. And what reason would I have for lying to you? What would we have to gain from all of this? The only thing that you offered us is the ring, so why now would I be stepping back here trying to give you this ring back? That's a waste of 2 days from us and loss of our reward. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
All right. Go ahead and roll your insight. Trying to find the chinks in his logic.
All right. All right. Well, that's a 12 on my main die. So between that, I got. Yep. I definitely succeeded, but no 6s on those gosh darn D6s. So no Tengwar runes. No extra successes there.
And you remember to add that extra success there for the spending of hope?
I did, yes.
You did. Okay. So this was 2 rolls, 2 successes. Johann, but no, when you called, I was just on my way and had just come from my flock. And the ring, though, the ring. How came you by it? How could she? He's getting really pale now, really, sort of like little flushed spots on his cheeks. Who's going to take the next roll?
What if we're the ones that got duped? What if he's not the one that's dead, but she was, and then flip-flopped it?
Wouldn't that be
And if he can
devious?
get pale and flushed, that's... Oh boy.
I can't go any more layers deep. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. I'm not going back in that forest.
Fool me twice, we say, that's it, we're done.
We're just like, fine, you're alive, toss the ring at him. We're going to Bree.
I don't want to miss that estate sale.
Right, Dahlia's got stuff to do, man.
Well, I'm leaving it up to Leiknir or Arabeth and everything. He's Oz is looking back at you two like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Does Arabeth have something, or is it time for a nice punch of truth?
I have persuade. I just don't know what that looks like. I guess. All right. Well, first of all, I want to use a hope point for myself.
Okay.
To persuade. And basically just say, you know, look, we're just trying to help. You know, we're trying to make sure that you're able to rest, and you know, she's not a people person, so this is not going to go very well for me RP wise, but just, you know, like, I understand that this is really challenging, and, you know, this is not probably what you wanted to hear, but we just want to help you find the piece that you're looking for. And we're going to leave it at that.
Okay. Since you're spending a point of hope, do you have a distinctive feature that might support that?
I don't... Excuse me. I don't think so. Hold on. I just want to check something really quick. Huh. Sorry. I gotta find something in the book and I can't remember what page it's on.
You're looking for the descriptions of the features?
Yeah, I found it. I would, let's see. I would like to, I have the feature Shadow Lore. And I guess I also want, I guess I would be using that to, make sure that, like, this is true. You know, like, this isn't part of some larger evil that's in the land.
Yeah. I think, I mean, with the Shadow Lore, because it's really focused on, you know, that's knowledge about the servants of the Shadow and their plots. I think you had established before that Johann doesn't seem to be that kind of... I was... Because I was looking at... I think the Stern feature might apply.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to persuade me. You're like, look, this is... Yeah. Let's talk straight. So I'll allow you. I'll give you that. You're inspired on your hope. So you get 2 extra dice.
Excellent. Okay. So let's see. That is a D6. I mean, a D12 and 4 D6.
Yeah.
And it didn't want to show up.
Oh, showed up for the rest of us. You got 29 and you got a 6.
Excellent.
With a 6.
Sorry, how many 6s is there?
1 6.
Oh, 1 6.
Well, the target number was a 15.
Yo. Oh yeah, no, I mean, you blew that out of the water. All right, so that's 1 roll, 2 successes. So you've got 3 rolls, 4 successes now. You begin to see... Like, Johann doesn't even say much anymore. He's just... But... Sort of going through clearly in his mind, like, wait, but I have all these memories. I think I'm alive, and now you're presenting me with all of these points of argument and this evidence that don't fit that. Who will make the last roll?
Bring it home, Leiknir, and I'll spend a
boy.
hope to encourage Leiknir.
And he's your fellowship focus, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, Leiknir, you get 2 extra success dice. Which skill are you using?
My original idea was to, well, go with my original idea with all and just, yeah.
Huh? What would that look like? Using awe.
Yeah, so he's just standing there, stammering, and we've been at this conversation for a while. We've said a lot of the same thing over and over again. It's just not getting through. When Dahlia stole the flute, like, he was corporeal, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously she took the flute. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna stride up to this kid. Look, kid, you're dead. That's it. You're dead. Why would we make this shit up? You sent us 2 days out in the forest to go talk to some creepy lady. She says you're dead, it's been a long time, she's given you your ring back. So best case scenario, you're not dead, but you're dumped. So let's just get over all of this right now. Take this ring back, and we need to figure this out. If you'd like, I could put my axe through you.
Good use of awe.
I am also fierce and fed up.
Okay.
So if I spend hope for myself, would that be another 2d? Okay.
It would be.
Okay.
And let's make this interesting. You have the ring. I will allow that as a useful item in this case. It is a very useful item to hold that ring up and look, you thought you had the ring.
Okay.
You didn't.
All
Here
right.
it is. So that would gives you an additional success die. So I think that gives you an additional 5. So that means you roll a d12 as a feat die and 8 success dice.
6, 7, 8. Really? Okay.
Let's clear this up.
Well, that's a 34, but only 1 6, which fortunately I think is all we needed.
No, you had 3 rolls.
We had 3 rolls with 4
successes.
successes.
So
We
this will
needed
bring us
6,
up-
didn't we?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. 4 rolls, 2 more successes. Yes. Math. Yes. You just make it. You end with, or I can put my axe through you, and then you're dead anyway. That maybe doesn't so much convince him that he's already dead. But between you saying, look, I have the ring, and that means you didn't have it, you never had it, or it means you're dumped. Something almost, you see his face crumble a little bit. Goes, oh. But leave me. No, leave me she would not. Maybe you were right, and I was with her long ago and gave her then the ring, and she accepted it.
Right. Long ago. It's been a long time. Can you even remember? Can you remember the last time you saw her? Like, really, really saw her. Like, we're really there. Can you even remember? Because your people don't live long.
Everything that happened then, it's like a fog, just like a
Like you're dead.
pale.
The brain gets a little fuzzy when it stops working.
And he looks at the ground by the large rock that he was sitting on. And there I lie. Bleached bones
Finally.
and ancient dreams. And yet so real. And he holds up his hands and you see them. They're real. And Dahlia, you touched him. I mean, you touched the flute. You took the flute, and it all felt very solid. The resistance of the flute against his body. But now you see a slight translucency to just the skin. Looks almost a little bit like a little glow, or and like now you look down where he looks, actually just to the left of.
Yeah, I'm grabbing a shovel. He said, "There I lie." I go grab a shovel.
Well, you don't need to, because just at the edge
okay.
where the grass is very high, you look and there's actually a little bit of cloth and a little bit of a bone peeking out that you all hadn't seen before. So, Oz, what were you going to say?
Oz, as he saw him like getting a shovel, he's just like, no, a bit of decorum. Give the lad a moment to mourn himself.
He's dead.
Exactly.
Must be true. Do remember now a long and painful sadness and a dwindling away, and always just the anger of my father, who never let me do what I meant to do. And suddenly the light dims, dark clouds roll in, a fog appears in the forest, and you hear out of the forest, out of the fog, Johann. Father, there he is. With all my cousins. Around us. He starts to visibly shrink, actually shrink and shrink away. And this fog rolls forward. It gets darker and darker, like a storm rolling in, or evening progressing rapidly. And in that fog, you see figures. 4, 5, 6 shadowy outlines standing in the fog. Dark against the... almost black against the dark gray background, with shadows of large dogs, wolves, unclear by their sides, a whole pack. And in their heads, where eyes would be, an even deeper darkness, almost like the absence of light, an almost sucking, draining darkness.
I'm gonna make sure I am in front of Dahlia.
And I would like each of you to make a valor roll, which means a feat die, a d12, plus 1 success die for each point of valor that you have, which I think at this point is 1.
All disappeared.
I got a 10.
I see in the chat log there's I think I rolled a 9, but my dice disappeared before I saw it finish.
I rolled an 11 plus a 4, so I believe that's a 4.
11 plus a 4. What do you mean?
11 on my D12 and a 4 on my D6. 11 is
right.
is the bad eyeball thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got one.
Your target number is your heart score in any case. How about Oswald?
Oh no, I got I got not that. I got a 10. So
okay.
Yeah, I had a total of a whopping 8.
Oh man. So as you're looking at these figures appearing, you hear a voice creep out of that fog and that darkness. Leave him to me. He is mine. I determine what happens, not to you. Leave him to me. And Johann goes, no, I will not. Cannot go back to you. All three of you take some shadow. Yeah. All three of you take 3 shadow points. You all failed your valor roll.
Do I get anything worse for my eyeball?
No, not that I know.
Yeah.
Go back to him.
Think your boy's made it pretty clear to all of us concerned he wants nothing to do with you.
So it is his dad. He does have a scary dad.
Yeah, most are.
Give him back. And you hear growling from the wolf, dog-like creatures, the shadows.
Oswald is going to reach behind himself and unhook his axe and pull it forward and just say, sorry, don't think we'll be doing that.
Dahlia a couple steps back and readies her bow.
Then die. And 2 of these tall human-like figures and 2 of the wolf-like figures rush forward. Shadows more than actual figures. Yay! The combat tracker. Okay, so we're going to have a combat too. The last of the special kinds of set pieces. The way this happens, the way this operates is nobody was surprised, so no special things happen. At the start, there's such a thing. There's a thing called an opening volley, because as the groups close in, there's time enough to throw things that can be thrown, shoot things that can be shot, before the groups clash and engage in battle. So if any of you have thrown or thrown weapons or bows, you have 1 shot that you can take. And player heroes usually go first, unless they're surprised. Unless you're surprised, you go first. So let's go around. Dahlia had said she readies her bow. You have 2 sort of human-sized shadows rushing towards the group, and 2 more kind of wolf-like creatures. Whom would you like to target?
I'll probably do one of the people rushing towards us.
Okay. The more human-like.
Alrighty. So for that, is it a D12 plus D6 for how many pips are filled in? Is that how
Yep.
it works?
That is
Alrighty.
correct. And your target number you have to meet is your body target number, plus in this case a parry of 1, so one additional. Like, the number goes up by 1.
Ready.
You mean the strength target number?
Oh, sorry, strength. First edition was body. Apologies, strength.
So my strength target number is 17, and I rolled an 18.
All right, and so the strength target number 17 plus the 1 for their parry. Is that?
Okay, plus one for their parry would have been 18, so it would have been
18. So you meet it exactly. So the attack, the shot is a success. Any 6s in there?
No.
No. What's the number on your D12?
A 10.
So here's what happens. First of all, you do endurance damage, right? You hit. It's a successful hit. I forget, what's the damage for your bow?
Damage is 3.
3. So you inflict 3 endurance, 3 points of endurance damage, like a bruise, a knockback, whatever it may be. But a 10, ordinarily a 10 or a Gandalf on the, so in this case a 10 or 12 on the D12 means you also inflict a piercing blow, which means your arrow basically shoots past the armor or whatever they may have in this case, whatever shadowy creatures have. So they have to try and make an armor roll and defend against this piercing blow. What's the injury rating for your bow? The injury number?
16.
16, yeah, they fail. So you see the arrow fly towards this creature. You now see, as they're coming towards you, the lower wolf dog-like. It's sort of closer to wolf, maybe wolfhound. Very shadowy, big jaws with sharp teeth, and these deep black, almost negative light eyes. The human figure is coming towards you. There's some semblance of sort of a face distorted with anger, a little bit of an indication of clothing, like some furs and rough clothing and a little bit of, sort of leather jerkin on top. But your arrow sinks in a spot that would otherwise be like a lethal blow to a human. And for a moment, this creature recoils. No, not that easy. And cancels the wound. Let that creature go. And keeps moving forward. Nicely done. Nice shot. Let's go around. Aribeth,
Yes.
what do you do?
I would also have my bow out. So I would like to attack with that.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh. So that is a 15 with a 12 on the 12.
Okay.
And it's strength, you said?
Yeah.
Which is also a 15. My target number is a 15.
Okay. Who are you shooting at? Who are you targeting?
I'm going to target the same one that Dahlia targeted.
Okay. So ordinarily, because they have a parry of +1, ordinarily you would have missed because your target number now would be a 16, but 12 is the Gandalf rune. That's an auto success. So first of all, you hit.
Yay!
What's the damage for your bow?
Is a 3 for my bow also.
Oh, okay. You both have ordinary bows. And any 6s on your roll?
No.
But it's still a wound. It's still a piercing blow because it's a Gandalf, so it's an auto. So once again, they have to try and defend against that. What's the injury rating for your
14?
14. They meet that. So this time you see the arrow impact, but it seems to glance off of this shadowy, nebulous leather armor they are wearing. Leiknir.
Yes, I have a spear that I can throw.
Throw your spear. Who are you throwing your spear at?
I'm going to target one of the wolves, actually.
Okay, in that case, you just need to meet your strength target number.
Alright, and that is the same as any other roll. D12 plus D6 equal to pips.
Yep.
Alright. Not one of my better rolls, but we'll see how it goes. A 10. That's not going to do it.
10 total?
Yeah.
Yeah, nope. That spear misses the wolf as it rushes forward. You're just sort of taken aback for a moment. And it flies wide. Oz.
I mean, I did say that he pulled out his axe. It feels weird to then also be like, oh, wait, bow really quick, and then back to the axe. But, if you say, I'll take a bow shot if I got one, but,
The one-ring combat rounds are considered 30 seconds.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
time.
fine with you going, oh, wait.
Yeah. Can I spend a little bit of hope to give myself some extra success die? Because I don't have a great chance at this, so...
Yeah, in combat, you can spend hope to give yourself extra success. You can't be inspired, so your features don't work, and you can't support somebody else with hope. But you can spend hope on yourself, yeah.
Makes sense.
That's
that is going to be a 12. That's not going to do it. I need
a 12 total?
Yeah.
And who are you shooting at?
Oh, he was shooting at one of the wolves. Probably the same wolves that Leiknir was going for, but...
Yeah. It's probably still the effect also of that frightening, gravelly voice. It almost seems to rise equally out of the ground as it comes from these from these shadows. Your arrow goes straight into the trees. You hear it sort of fly off through the canopy. Okay. These creatures, actually, the two human shadows raise spears and throw them towards you. We'll say, let's do this via dice roll. The first one will throw a spear at Dahlia. So, Dahlia, what's your parry?
I believe it is. Parry's at the bottom, isn't it? Yep, that's a 17.
Automatic success for them. So you receive 4 points of endurance damage.
Oh no.
And you have to make an armor roll. So your armor rating tells you how many success dice. And you add your d12.
Alright, I get to add 2 to it.
Mm-hmm. You have to meet a 14.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh wait, you already had a wound.
And I have 1 point of endurance left.
Oh, you don't take points off for the fatigue. You're just really close, probably, right?
Well, okay, so I had like yeah, because I had 11 load, and I'm up to 11 fatigue, which is 22, and my maximum is 23.
How do you have 11 fatigue?
Because we had like the 3 from earlier, and then
That was shadow.
Yeah.
That goes in a different box.
no, that's in the shadow box. Like we started out with like 3, I think, then we had like a 4 added on top of it, and then right there was another. So.
Well, that's taking away
for the
from your current endurance and not adding to your fatigue.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that takes away from your max endurance. But you should have. I mean, the travel was only 8 fatigue total, and you took, I think, 1 off of that because of your pony. So you should be at 7 fatigue.
That'd be 7. Okay, then that would be 7 fatigue, 11 load, and 4 current.
And you should be at 19 current. Yeah, so you're at 19 current endurance, and a total of load and fatigue are 18, which is not you don't fall unconscious when you reach the balance. It just means you become wary.
Oh, so those are all different. I thought that load and fatigue, you added them together to get what your current was, and then it had to stay below your maximum.
No.
Oh, okay.
It counts against it, but only in terms of whether you're wary or not.
Okay, so I could still have 19 points of endurance taken away.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
We're learning as we play.
You just received... Right, that's why we're doing this. But you received a wound, so we have to roll a d12.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
My arm already hurts. Oh, it's gonna hurt now. Rolling.
Spear hits you in your arm.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. Oh no, and that's a very bad injury. So you take the spear in the arm, and you receive your second wound. And you drop to the ground and are considered dying. So Dahlia needs a healing roll within the next hour, or she will die.
Yikes.
Sorry. Oh no.
Dahlia just drops to the ground, and all of her stuff drops too, so you just see like acorns rolling away from her body and buttons going this way. But it was a very comfortable landing because she's got a bunch of like quilts and blankets and pillows in her pack, so it's very comfy.
I imagine Dahlia going down is like a boss dropping in Diablo, where loot is just.
Total loot drop. The second spear flies towards Leiknir. Leiknir, what's your parry?
My parry is 16.
Oh yeah. You completely sidestep that arrow. It flies right past you. Spear. It flies right past you and misses you. Oh, okay. So, since the opening volley is over, the two groups close now, and so that's where we're starting to use this combat tracker. Let's get to Dahlia and what's possible here in a second. First thing to do is for everybody to choose what combat stance they take. And combat stance is basically the One Ring very much abstracts combat, makes it very sort of theater of mind, but also just you basically decide how far you lean into the fighting. In forward stance, you're right there, up in front, in the front line. You gain a success die on your attacks, but every adversary who targets you also gains one success die against you. And there's a specific combat task that comes with that as well that you can do if you're in forward stance. You can try and intimidate your foes with an odd roll instead of attacking. Open stance is sort of that middle ground. You don't gain anything. Your opponents don't gain anything. The combat task you can perform instead of attacking there is rallying your allies, and then they gain benefits to their rolls. And then finally, you can choose defensive stance if you want to be in close combat, which means you're sort of trying to protect yourself as much as possible. Adversaries against you lose 1 success die in their attacks against you, but you also lose 1 success die for every opponent that you're engaged with. And the special combat task you can perform there is to protect those who are in the combat stances in front of you with a battle roll. And then finally, it is possible to stay in the back and shoot arrows or throw thrown weapons, but you can only do that if you have at least, for every person who wants to do that, you have to have at least 2 people in close combat. If you're in the back, nobody can attack you in close combat. They have to throw or shoot at you, and there's a special task, prepare a shot, that would allow you to take a turn, take particularly good aim, and then you might gain some success dice for the next attack. So, what stance do you choose?
Open.
I would be protecting Dahlia, which sounds like a defensive stance, if that would really matter since Dahlia is already kind of bleeding out.
I think because Dahlia got wounded during the opening volley, you still have time to move. So I think you could even protect her from immediate... She's not going to be part at the moment of this combat. I think you could just basically set up the line in front of her so that nobody can get through to her. You can choose defensive still if you wanted to do that. That would be fine.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It goes into defensive.
And that works out because I was planning on going forward.
Okay. So Arabeth goes in forward stance. Since there are more adversaries than there are player heroes right now, I now get to choose who the adversaries engage with. I would say, and so that sort of gets sort of locked in. That means you're going to face that particular adversary until you either run away or they run away or are defeated. I would say one of the humans will engage with Arabeth, one of them with Oz.
It seems strange to me that the defensive formation is at the back. How do I present myself as the target?
Oh, forward. If defensive would mean defensive for you, you're trying to defend yourself as much as possible.
Okay. So it's either you protect your companions or you protect yourself. You can't, drop into a shield position and try to take the brunt of the attack.
Yeah, no, there's no mechanic to try and do that.
Okay. I'm sorry to go back on this. I don't think there's any reason for me then to go defensive stance.
Okay.
So I'm going to join Arabeth up and forward.
Okay. Not a problem.
Sorry, I misunderstood the nomenclature.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, we're here to learn that. So if Leiknir is in forward stance, I think the human adversaries will then actually close with Aribeth and Leiknir. One of the wolves will close with, and maybe, yeah, let's say the two wolves will close with Oz.
Bring it on.
Okay. Player heroes go first. And we're going in order of stances, so the forward stance goes first, so it's Leiknir and Aribeth. So again, you have basically a main action and what is it called? I want to say bonus action, but that doesn't sound quite right because I'm probably getting systems mixed up.
A task. That's how they described it on the thing, but
the combat task is an additional thing, yeah. And I can't find the nomenclature right now. Secondary actions. Right. So the main action would be something like attacking, or trying a skill roll to do one of the combat tasks that's associated with your stance. Or I would say making a healing roll to try and prevent Dahlia from dying. So if a healing roll was successful on her, she would come back with 1 endurance point.
At the moment, though, she's not. There's no like D&D death save she has to worry about.
No, so she doesn't have to worry about death saves. But at the same time, if she doesn't get a successful healing roll within the next hour, she will die.
We'll get them.
It's sort of...
Well, middle of combat might not be the best time for medicine. I don't know, though. What's the benefit of intimidating a foe? I believe is the forward combat task.
Yeah, an intimidate combat task. You would make an awe roll, and if successful, it reduces the hate of opponents, which they use. It's like their hope, which they use to do special things. One of them already used one of those when Dahlia shot the one shadow. She would have scored a piercing blow, and it would have created a wound, but they have an ability where they can negate that because they're deathless. But they have to have 8 points to spend. Oh, sorry. No, never mind.
Yeah.
I was just looking. That was first edition again. Ugh. It's still...
Yeah, I was following along. I'm like, I don't see that.
No, it makes them wary. Sorry, my apologies. In second edition, it makes opponents wary, which means, like for you, when they're wary, a 1 through a 3 on their success dice on their d6s counts as 0.
Okay.
On the next attack.
Yeah, I will just attack.
Okay.
Just to see if we can speed up this combat.
We are a wee bit over the planned time and everything, so we need to kill these things very quickly.
Close out here. Okay. Make your attack roll.
Okay. Can I spend hope to make myself better at this?
Yeah, you can spend a point of hope.
Now you said features don't come into play here. I can't use fierce.
Yep, you're right.
All right. So I would get an extra d6.
Yep, 1 extra d6.
Seriously? All right. Yeah, that's a 12. I needed a 13. That's not going to work.
Oh, so close.
Next.
All right, almost miss. Just about gets parried out of the way, basically. Aribeth.
So I want to swap out my bow for my sword.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to attack the one that is right on me. So
Okay.
that is, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And then I have a note on it, my character sheet, that my sword is keen. Do I have to do anything specific for that? Okay.
I think that's already calculated into your character.
Okay.
Into your weapon.
So that is an 18 with 1 6 on the die.
Okay. An 18, so definitely hits. For your sword, what's the damage rating?
4.
That's a 4. What did you roll on the d12?
An 8.
An 8. Okay, so that does not. But keen. Keen, I believe, is an extra. Makes even with that. Well, so here's the thing. Keen makes your weapon more likely to do a piercing blow, so you'd only need a 9 or a 10. You're still off of that, but you got an extra 6. With that 6, you can either add 2 to your d12 to make your piercing to create a piercing blow, or you can do additional endurance damage. So you could do your strength attribute worth of endurance damage.
My strength attribute,
Which I think is 5. Because your target number is 15.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do that then.
Okay. So you raise your sword and with this massive, mighty swipe, for a moment you think your sword just goes through this shadowy creature as sort of like almost like fog, where the neck would be. You think, oh no, but there's resistance, and the shadow just collapses in on itself and then vanishes. And you take out the shadowy creature who had already been hit by people with bows. Oz.
I gotta attack a wolf. I
Alright.
got 2 wolves on me. Give me one of them wolves. I'm taking out my axe, so I got 2 die there. Gonna use a hope to give myself a 3rd one. So, big winners, big winners. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh my god, so many dice just suddenly appearing as I go back into the dice roller.
That happened to me too.
Hiya! That's a 20, no extra 6s.
All right, that definitely hits. What's the damage rating for your axe?
Damage rating is 5, and then it says the injury is 18.
The injury only. Oh, what did you roll on your d12?
Oh, I didn't get any. 8, so I didn't get.
Yeah, that doesn't. It
Doesn't
doesn't.
get-
It
okay.
doesn't create a piercing blow. Okay, so they will retaliate. We have the one in front of Aribeth is gone, but the one in front of Lechnia will attack Lechnia. What was your parry rating again?
16.
16. Yeah, you block that. You just sweat. He's got this nasty blade. It's sort of pitted and rusty and shadowy, but nevertheless looks really unpleasant. But you parry that out of the way, no problem.
And just smash against it with my shield. Stay the hell away from this girl!
Give him be to me. Wolves snap at you. What was your parry rating?
17.
17. Ooh, difficult to hit. The first one does hit though. You receive 3 points of endurance damage, and you have to make an armor roll against 14.
All right. Let me do that.
I'm sorry, I'm
quick.
rolling really well, you folks.
Oh, just terrible. Absolutely terrible. 7.
Roll a d12 for me as you receive a wound.
1.
That good or bad?
In this case, actually good. I mean, you receive a wound, you're wounded. It's the kind of wound that would only take 1 day to heal, so not so terrible in a way. The second one attacks you, and now it dies. Yeah, that's the die, but that's okay. Wait, that's the wrong die that I lost. 7. Yeah, the second one you sidestep that attack, no problem.
Okay. And I think now might be a good time, since we're running so far over and some folks have very early mornings. We may want to call the combat and just have a narrative finish to it, our lovely GM, and a quick wrap up.
Okay. I apologize. It did run away with me. I think my sense for time zones is off.
Let's go over.
I would say the way things are going, though, it's going to be a pitched battle. It wages back and forth. There's probably woundings that you'll come out of after all of this. Sort of those nasty festering shadow wounds. Not quite as bad as what Frodo had in the end, but in the end, you prevail. And as the last shadowy opponent dissolves, those who had still been waiting and standing off in the distance retreat, flow away like fog. And Johann looks at you, goes, "Thank you," and dissolves as well. And sunlight returns. Warmth returns to you. We'll say the healing roll on Dahlia works.
Oh, well, that wasn't a very restful nap.
Let's
those
just
drinks?
get you home.
Yeah, I think it's time to go get a few drinks. And get
Wasn't
to
there
the
that estate sale you needed to get to?
Oh, yes, there was an estate sale, but I do have to say the memories that we've made over the past few days are far more valuable than anything I could find there.
I guess the real rewards were the fellowships we made along the way.
Somebody had to say it.
Yeah, Oswald, come on. Put an arm under Dahlia's shoulders, because I'm assuming she's still all kinds of messed up even after healing. Escort these people out of the dangerous woods.
All right, and hey, does everyone want to give another little shout out for what they can do? If you're watching these folks and you want to see more of their stuff, their links are in the description. But everyone, just give a little holler out and everything about what you're doing. Kris, our wonderful GM, why don't you start?
Well, I'll start. I'm Kris, DesertedGM. Find me on startplaying.games if you want to play a game with me, one shot or a mini campaign or full-on campaign. I've got some stuff coming up over the summer and at the end of the summer. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Perfect. Luna?
Yeah, I'm Luna. I am Gamer Mom Luna over on Twitch, where I host every Sunday night Tales from the Tavern, which is a weekly roundtable conversation with me and 5 guests where we chat about all things TTRPG, and all of our questions come from chat, which is a lot of fun because the conversation always ends up really interesting. Some of the questions that we get are sometimes like, what flavor is a gelatinous cube? And can you drink a water elemental? So it's always very entertaining. But I do want to shout out that coming up the weekend of July 8th through the 10th, I'm going to be hosting the 2nd annual Extra Life Charity Stream Weekend Extravaganza. So between that Friday and Sunday, there will be 24 hours of TTRPG one-shots, wrapping up with an episode of Tales from the Tavern, all to raise money for Extra Life. So if you're around and you want to drop by, we're starting Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and there will be one-shots all throughout the weekend, and ending, like I said, with Tales from the Tavern on Sunday. So please stop by and contribute if you can, and if not, help spread the word. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. Hope?
I am Hope for TTRPGs, and I run a TTRPG community. You can find us basically anywhere. Come hang out with us in our Discord, have a lot of fun there. And I'm basically on every other social media. So I just have a lot of fun making friends in the TTRPG space, and of course playing TTRPGs. So thank you all for having me here and introducing me to the One Ring. I am now in love with the system, and I have the Player's Handbook on my wish list now, because that will definitely be the next TTRPG that I get. So thank you all for introducing me to this.
Absolutely. Jack?
Yes, hello, I'm Jack. I have been Lakenir, the grumpy old dwarf, who apparently has a heart at the end. Yeah, you can find me over on my own channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, and over on YouTube under the same name. That is at PPLS Ascension on Twitter, because my name was too long. I run a series called RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it is to learn a new TTRPG. Usually a 6-week-long season. We do a critical analysis. We look at the rules, tools, and themes of a rule book, go into a 4-part demo play mini-series to give you a cool story and a demonstration of how it all works, and then a critical analysis, system analysis of the whole thing afterwards. We're just wrapping up our current season of Lost Eons, that's a solar punk sort of game, this Sunday. So stop by the Twitter, and I believe there's links down below if you want to know more. But thank you so much for having me on. It has been a fantastic time gaming with all of you wonderful people. I had so much fun.
Heck yeah. And I'm Klaus, the Dungeon Noob's Guide. You're on my channel. Neat. My 2022 VTT rundown is underway. Should be out in a week or two. Otherwise, thanks for hanging around, and thanks so much to all these wonderful players for being here. This was a lot of fun. And Kris, thank you for running more The One Ring for me, because I absolutely adore it, and I adore your GMing. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and to all you folks who are still watching, have a wonderful night, and catchphrase.